Please take your seat. The show is about to begin.
Presented by FYF Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon. Joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garofalo. Our friend Kupp with us, a.k.a. Kupp A. Fiasco. What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my very alert co-host, John Luke Garofalo. What's up, JL?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Nailed it. What kind of tea you got in that cup?
I got this tea called orange juice.
That's my favorite kind of orange juice cup right there with a handle.
Oh, yeah. You got to have the ceramic. This is what Maria and I call the juice cup.
The juice
Nice juice cup.
The juice cup.
It's a little dirty, though. It's got a little bit of my peanut butter and jelly sandwich on the side of it. It's disgusting. I just showed everyone my disgusting cup.
Orange juice and peanut butter.
Cup.
Nothing goes better together in the morning. We got some people in the chat. Tommy in here saying a little bit more pessimistic than his usual morning message. Says, no, McDaniels must go. Yeah,
no. McDaniels must go. No.
Tommy was just laying in bed last night chanting that to himself. Like, no.
McDaniels must go.
He just cried himself to sleep saying that chant. We got some more people in the chat over here ready for today's show. Adam said, morning, boys. Good morning, Adam. He said,
morning,
finally
Adam.
got the dub this week.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Joey in here saying, good morning. Good morning, Joey. Man,
Good day, Joe.
I wish we got to spend some time with you this morning, Joey. If only in about 58 minutes I could spend a little bit of time with you.
Why don't you just quit doing what you're doing, Joey, and hop on here with us and have some fun.
You got 58 minutes to get over here, Joey. That's the time limit. And Craig in here said, guys, my wife is a Packers fan. I am not. Please spread some cheer and shenanigans for me. And by he is not, Craig means he's a Cowboys fan. So it is more than just not being a Packers fan. Aaron Rodgers flexed all over him after that victory, just straight into the camera, double arm flex for Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, Aaron Rodgers.
Guys, it is that time of the morning, that Monday morning where we are bringing your own breakfast. We're not bringing it. You're bringing it. We've got the news stories. We've got the things that we need to talk about that went down this weekend. I hope you've got the breakfast, or at least crumbs of peanut butter left over on your orange juice cup. John Luke, what do you got for me this Monday morning?
You start us off this morning. You start us off with this nice breakfast meal you got.
You know what? Tommy alluded to it, but we got to talk about it. I'm sorry, Tommy. You may want to plug your ears for a moment. But the Jeff Saturday led
Jeff Saturday.
The Jeff
Don't you
Saturday,
mean Jeff Friday?
Jeff Big Balls Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Jeff the whole freaking weekend pulled out a victory against the Las Vegas Raiders.
I like that, Jeff, the whole freaking weekend.
Unbelievable that he was able to pull that out. And watching that game, it legitimately, when they cut to him, he just looks like a coach from a movie. He doesn't look like a real football coach. Like they cut to him on the sideline and like even his
big
like
eyelashes.
mannerisms, big eyelashes, playful face, the perfect beard. Like he just looks like he had a whole hair and makeup department make him look like a football coach. And then went out there on the field. And I guess they did a great job. Dress the way you want, dress for the job you want, right? And Jeff Saturday got the W against the Raiders. Tommy did call it though.
Tommy did call it. Listen, the Colts, they were able to beat this abysmal Raiders team. Simon, what do you think they're going to be able to do next week? You think they're going to be able to pull out another win?
Who do the Colts have next week? That's a big part of this question.
That is a good question.
No, they have the Eagles. I do not think they'll be able to pull out another win.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I mean, but if we look at the schedule, you know what? They got a pretty tough schedule down the line. Eagles are tough. The Steelers the weekend after that. That's a winnable game, right? They've got the Cowboys the weekend after that. I wouldn't call that winnable. Vikings. That's a tough game as well. Chargers, another tough game. Giants, another tough game. And then the Texans to end the season. Maybe they
Another
can
tough game.
the Texans, another tough game. Not for Jeff Saturday, John Luke.
Not for Jeff the freaking weekend.
Not for Jeff the whole freaking weekend. Maybe for Jeff Tuesday, this would have been a problem. But Jeff the whole freaking weekend's got the Texans number. I bet they can pull out 2 more wins from this bunch. My money would be on the Steelers and the Texans, but crazy stuff happens. Maybe they lose one of those, pull one out against the Vikings or something. But I bet Jeff Saturday gets himself 2 more wins down the stretch here. And then they say, so long, Mr. Jeff.
Bye-bye, Jeff. Bye-bye. Bye, Mr. Weekend.
But I saw there was a tweet from Jeff Saturday from October 30th. Did you see this tweet?
I did see this tweet.
Where he just tweets out, Raiders look horrible. How bad does that have to feel? On October 30th, before this man even knew that NFL coach was like a possibility for his career, right? Like before that was even on his radar as a possibility, he tweeted out, Raiders look horrible. Then he gets hired as the head coach with no experience, leaves the tweet up as his first NFL opponent, and then beats him.
And then just destroys them.
It was like pulling their pants down on national television.
Yeah, I mean, exactly
he destroyed them more.
25-20. The Raiders lose to the Colts. 25-20. Raiders moving to 2-7. 2-7. Pretty bad for the Raiders. But yeah, I'm with you, Simon. I think of those matchups, 2 of them he can possibly win. And you know what? That would be a success. That would be a success, all things considered, for Mr. Jeff Weekend.
This team looked better catched, or not better catched.
Better catched.
This team was much better catched and much better throwed than they were previously. What I meant was this team looked like the better coached team out on the field this weekend. Like, again, maybe it's just a new guy in town, like parents aren't home, let's go wild. Or maybe Jeff Saturday truly is like, what if Jim Irsay isn't crazy? And what he really needed was a leader of men. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need those X's and O's. I just need a leader of men. And what if Jeff Saturday's getting them hyped?
I could see it. He looked like it after the game. He was in the press conference and he was just beaming. I don't know if you saw that, Simon.
He was beaming. No, it's part of the movie charm. It's straight out of a movie. That was the coach after their first win. Right. He was feeling good. Tommy in the chat saying, how about that Jefferson catch? Cooper Kupp is injured. Fields looks like Vick. Let's move on.
Let's move on. Anything. We will get to the Jefferson catch. We will get to that Jefferson catch. Before we do, Simon, let's dwell on this Raiders team a little bit more. Derek Carr in the post game press conference was talking about how tough the season was and got really emotional. Did you watch this clip?
I did not, but I think we have it ready to go, right?
I think Keith's got it for us.
I love Josh. I love the car. I love our coaches. They've had nothing but success, way more success than I've ever had, and, I'm sorry.
Derek,
sorry.
Continue.
To finish that, sorry for being emotional. I'm just pissed off about some of the things, that a lot of us try and do just to practice what we put our bodies through just to sleep at night. And for that to be the result of all that effort pisses me off. Pisses a lot of guys off. It's hard knowing what some guys are doing. Like I said, just to practice what they're putting in their body just to sleep at night. Like just so we could be there for each other. And I wish everybody in that room felt the same way about this place. And as a leader, that pisses me off, if I'm being honest.
Man, that is brutal. Tommy,
I don't know if the low volume made it so much sadder. Fans. I had this really upbeat music playing in my headphones today. So it's like, ooh, shake your ass. Just being super emotional.
God, I mean, one, brutal to be at like that level of emotion and then have to get up on stage and address like a room full of people and all of those cameras. That sucks. But also, while we're talking this movie motif, maybe Jeff Saturday's the villain and Derek Carr's the protagonist, because that was the point in the movie where like the protagonist hits their low, right? And that's the speech they give. It was very theatrical. But
what I'm wondering is, like, he keeps continually week after week been referring to these people who are not giving enough effort. And I'm curious who he's talking about. Like, which part of the team is not.
Maybe I entirely missed that. I thought he said the effort that people are putting in. Like, it sucks.
He's talking about the effort people are putting in, but he's saying it's not everybody in the room is doing that.
Oh, I have no idea. I missed that part. Maybe I was too focused on the like the little hand gestures and everything, but I didn't hear that part of it. I don't know.
Yeah, he's referred to that in the past as well, just saying, this. I think after the tough loss 2 weeks ago, he was referring to effort and not everybody giving enough effort in the room. So it seems like the team is maybe split, and Derek Carr's having a hard time keeping them together.
Yeah, maybe some ready to roll with Josh McDaniels, maybe some not so ready to roll with Josh McDaniels. Now, there also is the like added element of they probably have to blame the season on one of two guys, right? The season needs to either Josh McDaniels is a failure, we made a mistake and fire him after 1 year, or Derek Carr's not our franchise quarterback and they use him as a scapegoat to get one more year for Josh McDaniels. And I bet Derek Carr's aware of that, right? Like, he's aware it's probably either Josh McDaniels or him that's going. And the Raiders seem to be pretty invested in Josh McDaniels, even though it hasn't gone well so far. Like, I would not be shocked to see them move on from Derek Carr and keep Josh McDaniels another year, see if they can right this ship.
What do you think the problem is?
Oh, Josh McDaniels seems like a terrible head coach. Just truly awful. This team should be so much better than it is. I think the problem is mostly on Josh McDaniels and the coaching, but I think it's going to get pinned on Derek Carr. Yeah, I think Derek Carr is going to be the one who takes the blame for this season.
Right.
Yeah. And Tommy here saying this guy was the glue last year with all that Gruden Ruggs turmoil. Yeah, Derek Carr puts it in for the team. That's why I feel bad for him. And Tommy's saying 100% McDaniels. I feel
a little more respect for Derek Carr after the last year or two, watching him go through all that there in Las Vegas. So a lot of respect for that man now.
And then to lose to the Jeff Saturday legend.
And then lose Jeff Saturday, it's all gone. I don't
have
a single ounce of respect for that man anymore.
Even more respect.
I see my mom in the chat saying, starting the week off right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Good morning, Ma.
And Craig said, rumor is JL gave that same speech in a backdoor FYF meeting 2 weeks ago.
That is the rumor, and it is true.
It is true. It is 100% true. And he was talking about me. We had a question in here from Adam Jail before we move on to our next BYOB topic. He said, do y'all like Christian Watson or Kadarius Toney as a waiver pickup this week after 2 big games? So, John Luke, if you're prioritizing one of those players, which one is it?
I think I would prioritize Christian Watson over Kadarius Toney. Juju Smith-Schuster dealt with a really bad concussion in this game yesterday, which definitely gave Toney more opportunities. Christian Watson looked fantastic. Toney made it work with 5 targets, 4 receptions, 57 yards, and a touchdown. Christian Watson, he looked good out there. He looked like what we've been hoping for the season leading up to this. 8 targets, 4 receptions, 107 yards, and 3 touchdowns. I don't expect that week in, week out, but I do. I am hopeful that he is the guy here in Green Bay.
My brain went blank for a second there. I forgot what players we were talking about, but now I'm back on the same page, John Luke. Kadarius Toney, the other thing I wanted to add, not only did Juju Smith-Schuster get injured and have to leave that game, head injury, pretty scary head injury. Mecole Hardman was already out as well, right? So there were 2 of the top receiving options on that team not playing. I like Kadarius Toney. I think he's worth an ad, but I'm going to be with you, JL. Christian Watson's the guy to add. He's got a shot with Romeo Doubs out and Allen Lazard being the only guy in town at being the top target on this team rest of season if he takes over that role. And it looks like something clicked between him and Aaron Rodgers this weekend. 3 freaking touchdowns, right?
Yeah, 3 touchdowns.
Absurd. They couldn't share one with Allen Lazard, just one.
Nope.
Just
all but Christian.
Just one for Alan Lazard would have been so great. That would have been really nice of you, but
Would have
nope.
been.
Nope.
It would have been.
Christian Watson, the number 3 wide receiver on the week in a PPR league. Freaking absurd, by the way, that he had 3 touchdowns, and he's not number 1, not number 2, but the number 3 scoring wide receiver on the week.
Right.
Insane. 107 receiving yards for Christian Watson. Yeah, you gotta go at him. Gotta go put some of your fab dollars
juice
down on Christian Watson. JL.
Down a little juice on Christian Watson for me.
Disgusting.
Let's talk about that Justin Jefferson catch, Simon. Catch of the year. Catch of the freaking year. One-handed, just reverse moss to this Bills defender. Was this the best catch you've seen all season, Simon?
I think so.
Pickens catch or this catch?
I'm going to go with this catch. This catch had an extra element to it. Like, as he was going down, he was still fighting for the ball. Know what I mean? Like, as he hit the ground, the ball wasn't secured. He was still fighting for it. And, like, when they first showed one angle of the replay, I was like, oh, shoot, it hit the ground. But then they showed it, and I was like, how in the world did he avoid that ball hitting the ground? Know what I mean? How did he keep that in his possession? And then it was a full extension, one hand, grabbed it out of a defender's hands, like just unbelievable. I've watched that one probably 20 times already.
Yeah,
not counting the replays on Red Zone.
So good, so good. I think I would still go with the Pickens catch just because this one, it was like him and the defender caught the ball together. You know, like they're like, he's like, if you look, like you said, Simon, as he's going to the ground, he doesn't actually have the catch. He and the defender are both pushing against the ball to keep it in. But incredible catch. But I think I would still put the Pickens one above him for catch of the year.
That's cool. If you like being wrong.
Bonk.
Adam Jefferson's catch, 100% the GOAT catch of the year.
Catch.
Hogs up. You know what? We are giving this catch the Arby's Oven Mitt catch of the week. Nailed it, JL. Justin Jefferson, he's got the meats.
He's got the meats.
No, it was beautiful. Justin Jefferson is absolutely insane. That was the most receiving yards in a game by a receiver this season as well, if I'm not mistaken. How many did he have? Like 190 something, 193 receiving yards in this game off 10 receptions, averaging 19.3 yards per reception in that game.
Insane.
The Vikings game plan should just be get the ball
to
in Justin Jefferson's hand every single play.
Right.
You know what I mean? Maybe do a fake out with Dalvin Cook every once in a while, but Justin Jefferson, every time he touches that ball, it feels like an offensive explosion on the field.
Right. Ooh, that's hot.
I almost went with magic, but I was like, let's base this in reality. Let's base this in reality. It doesn't feel like magic because it's real. Unless
you tell me magic is not real.
Okay. I mean, it depends on your
plenty of
definition.
magic shows, and I love them.
The magic shows,
Seem
not
pretty real to me.
But like the magic from like casting spells, 100% real.
Cast a spell for me right now.
What do? You'll find out what that did later.
Oh boy. I think I already feel it a bit. Somewhere in my tummy region.
Oh shoot. I always do the wrong spell on accident.
Classic.
Craig
I'm gonna have diarrhea.
The magic you two make each weekday is real.
Oh, so sweet.
Stop it, Craig.
You sweetie pie.
Stop it. Tommy brought up earlier Justin Fields looking like Michael Vick out there, but there was a quote from Justin Fields I wanted to bring up, kind of related. Courtney Cronin tweeted this out. Said Justin Fields on how he's feeling physically. I'm hurting pretty bad. Not really from hits, but just my legs are kind of sore.
Putting this team on my back.
Dude runs 170 plus yards last week, 147 yards this week. Like, and he's out here saying like, man, I'm sore, but people aren't, not from the hits I'm getting, just my legs hurt from running so much.
What a boss. What a boss. Right. Justin Fields did it again this weekend, Simon. Did your feelings on Justin Fields change at all this weekend? Are you more excited about him?
Maybe not more excited, but I have more confidence, right? Like each week that we're seeing, it's like, yeah, exactly. I was already this excited, like that this is a possibility that he can do this any given week, but I've got a little bit more confidence in just plugging him in as an every week start. Like he's been a top 5 quarterback. That's what he's been recently. And it looks like he can keep that up. Even if he's not getting 147 rushing yards a game, let's say we go back down to like only 60 rushing yards a game. He's still a great quarterback play. He doesn't have to do this to be worth starting, but he
Doesn't have
can't
to get those like 45 points. He can get you like 32 points and still be like a top 3 guy.
Exactly.
Yeah, 20 attempts, 12 completions, 167 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 13 carries, 147 yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. I would have loved to see. Oh, and he had a fumble. Forgot to mention that. I would love to see him pass more. I mean, the fact that the passing attempts went down this week is a little alarming. I guess it's somewhat expected due to game script here going against Detroit. But I would have liked to see more passing attempts. That still is a danger for me, red flag for me for these receiving options here in Chicago.
Yeah, 100%. It's why I'm not ready to elevate Cole Kmet to a like every single week must start. It's because they're just not throwing the ball enough. They're still averaging just over 20 pass attempts a game. Last week was their season high. Not this game, but the game before in pass attempts against Miami with 28. Yeah, like, and that shouldn't be the season high for a passing attack. That being said, this Bears offense is working. They figured it out. They're playing to their quarterback strengths, and this offense looks a lot better than it did at the beginning of the season. So they're probably going to keep rolling this way, and they're probably going to keep throwing 20 to 25 times a game the rest of the season.
Yeah, no, they've looked good. And you're right. Like they're keeping the rushing floor. They're keeping the rushing load up for Justin Fields, and that's really helping him. Really helping him in fantasy. He's got Atlanta next week, and then the Jets.
The best looking team that's won their lost their last 2 games, the Chicago Bears. Like they've looked decent out there. The Falcons and the Jets. The Falcons, that'll be an interesting game. That's a winnable one for the Chicago Bears. And then the Jets, I guess the Jets are good.
Yeah, so I think they'll be fine though, because they've been really good in the past, like the past defense game, but they haven't. I feel like the Bears don't need that. They'll just run.
And that's going to be their game plan. David Montgomery, Khalil Herbert, Justin Fields. They don't need a passing game if they've got those guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. We got Jolly Rancher in the chat. What's up, Mom? Good morning. Welcome in. Glad to have you here.
Good morning. Good to see you. Simon, did you see CMC? He played this week, but Elijah Mitchell's back. And according to Michael Florio, Christian McCaffrey played 64% of snaps with 14 carries, 6 targets, finished with 77 yards and a touchdown. Elijah Mitchell saw 36% of snaps, 18 carries for 85 yards. It's kind of that's a decent share. 36% of snaps for Elijah Mitchell. Are you expecting CMC to take over more, or what's the deal here? What's the deal with the San Francisco backfield?
I'm confused. I'm just unbelievably confused about this because it seemed like when they signed Christian McCaffrey, like I drafted a lot of Elijah Mitchell this year. He was great last year when given the full role. It seemed like he was going to be the lead back this year. But signing Christian McCaffrey makes it seem like Elijah Mitchell is just a backup. Like that's what that move says to me. You spent all that draft capital to trade for Christian McCaffrey, right? You would think he would be just the absolute lead back. But Elijah Mitchell, first game back off IR with 18 carries, and he looked good. Like he looked like the Elijah Mitchell from last year, averaging almost 5 yards a carry. Dude's got a roll. Like if this is how they're going to use him in the first game back, this is more of what I'm expecting. Maybe not the most carries on the team, but probably 10 plus carries a week for Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah, I mentioned it whenever CMC got traded, but CMC still has to learn this offense. He still has to learn this playbook. We expect Shanahan he traded for him, so we expect him to work him in very quickly, which he did. But Elijah Mitchell still knows this playbook intimately, still knows this offense intimately. And so I could see them, I think I mentioned it a while ago, but I could see them using Elijah Mitchell on a lot of these crucial points in the game. And I think we could still see that going forward. I do expect CMC to be the main guy there, but I think Shanahan wants CMC to last the whole season. So if they don't need to, they're not going to necessarily redline him, throughout in every opportunity.
Does this cap CMC's upside for you for fantasy? Like, does this change your perception of him rest of the season?
Not really, no. I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be good. He'll get you your points that you need, and I think as we get closer to the playoffs, he's going to be more and more used.
I mean, I do think it does cap his ceiling a little bit. Know what I mean? Instead of being the lead dog, like the only guy in town. There's some work going to Elijah Mitchell, like a substantial chunk of work. That being said, Christian McCaffrey with 14 carries and however the hell many targets he got. How many targets did Christian McCaffrey get this week? 6 targets. 6 targets, 14 carries. Like, you're still thrilled with Christian McCaffrey. He's probably going to be an RB1 with that volume. And so far this week he is. He's the RB11 on the week in PPR formats right now.
Right.
But maybe it just takes down that ceiling of like those 40-point weeks, like the 3 touchdown games. Like, it's going to be a little bit harder for those to happen.
Right. Adam in here said, I need to drop someone to make room for Elijah Mitchell coming off IR, rest of the season, full PPR. Would you rather have Alexander Madison, Kareem Hunt, Wan'Dale Robinson, or Khalil Herbert?
So he has to drop one of those guys to make room for Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah.
Out of those, it's either going to be Wan'Dale Robinson or Kareem Hunt that I'm dropping there. And it's not that I don't like those guys, just I feel like you got to hold on to Alexander Madison and Khalil Herbert, especially Khalil Herbert. I will drop Wan'Dale Robinson probably in order to put Elijah Mitchell back on the roster. I don't mind dropping Kareem Hunt, though.
I would drop Alexander Madison. I would rather have Kareem Hunt. I don't think Alexander Madison has much value with Alvin Cook playing. Kareem Hunt, we do see him from time to time have some value. Few and far between this time, unfortunately, this season. But I think I would drop Madison over Hunt.
That's fair. I think the reason I hold on to Madison is not because he has more value now. It's because the potential for his value could be huge down the stretch of the season if there's an injury.
I see it slightly more than Kareem Hunt, because if Nick Chubb goes down, Kareem Hunt definitely gets a much bigger role in that offense, which is valuable, but not quite the same as Alexander.
No, I'm with you there. Alexander Madison.
I will get that stuck in my head so quick. Craig said, great Jerry Seinfeld impression, JL. That was like cartoony Jerry Seinfeld. What's the deal with? I forget even what I said.
Do it again.
With Elijah Mitchell.
You said the 49ers backfield.
No, that's what it was.
Can't even remember your own words.
No, I can't.
Where
too
we
early. Wait,
where are you,
early.
JL?
Thursday.
Welcome to the club.
Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club, the Thursday club.
John Luke.
Seaman.
I don't know if you've realized this, but with the Bills loss to the Vikings, and don't worry, we're going to talk about this game. But I just want to highlight a stat. With the Bills loss to the Vikings and the Dolphins win this weekend, the Bills are now 3rd in their division. In the AFC East, the Bills are in 3rd place right now.
Oh, no.
It's absurd, right? They're sitting at 6-3 at 3rd place in their division.
Man. R.I.P. Dustin.
R.I.P. Dustin. Dustin not having a good Monday. Dustin and Tommy are struggling this Monday.
That is brutal. 3rd in their division. We were just talking about how the Dolphins beating them could have been a fluke. It's going to be tough to get through this Bills team in this division. Now, not so sure. Who do you think's who's gonna be on top of this division when it's all said and done, Simon?
The Bills. I still think the Bills come out on top in this division. The Dolphins are great. I think the Dolphins are a playoff team. They could win a couple games in the playoffs, but
listen,
I don't think that
you're great.
I don't think that defense is division winning caliber when there's a team like Buffalo in this division.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Miami could pull it out. I think the Jets could fight for that wild card spot. I don't think that they could win this division outright, but they might.
They're one game behind. They're in the same position as the Bills. They're both one game behind the lead. You know what I mean? Next weekend, one more week, we could be looking at a Jets-led division potentially. I guess I don't know who has the tiebreaker between them and the Dolphins.
I'm not sure.
So it could change that. Adam in here said, aren't all of the AFC East in the playoff picture now? Yeah, with the Patriots sitting at 5-4, they're only 2 games behind the lead in this division, and they're in prime position for a wild card spot. We could see all of the AFC East in the NFL playoffs potentially.
Good.
What a far cry for this Patriots, or this division was the Patriots for so long. You know what I mean? It was the Patriots, and then the Bills, Dolphins, and Jets sucked. And the Patriots would win this division every year, and then they figured out Bills slowly getting good, and now all of a sudden every other team in this division is a legitimately good team, and the Patriots are like, oh, we're doing our best with Mac Jones
No,
over
it's
here.
me. I'm the Patriots.
What was that? Is that what the Patriots sound like, Joe?
It's me. I'm Bill Belichick and the Patriots.
Are they like a ghost of a grandmother?
Yes, I'm the ghost of a grandmother, Bill Belichick.
Joey said, good. Jail
Garoppolo. I don't know what I said good to, but good.
It's a pretty good quote.
Pretty good quote.
You should put that one on a t-shirt.
This Bills loss, Simon, was absolutely brutal. The Bills fumbled on the goal line, giving the Vikings a go-ahead touchdown to win the game. It's a pretty insane game. This was in overtime. Or no, did that happen in overtime?
No, that was in regulation. That was in regulation. So after that, then the Bills drove the field in 41 seconds to kick a field goal
and tied it up at 30-30. Yeah. Pretty wild game. Pretty wild back and forth. Are the Vikings a playoff contender, Simon? Are they a good team?
That was the most tame way I've heard this game described so far. Pretty wild back and forth there at the end. It was insane. The Vikings had the ball to go ahead and win the game on the 1 yard line, and the Bills stuff Kirk Cousins on the goal line. Just stuff him. Absolutely. Game over. Bills win.
Josh Allen?
What'd you say?
Oh, you mean at the end of the game?
Yeah. No, I mean Kirk Cousins. The Bills stuffed Kirk Cousins at the goal line. They won the game right there. That's the end of the game 99% of the time. All they have to do is not fumble the ball into the end zone for the Vikings to pick up and score. That's literally the only thing they have to not do.
They get a safety, they still win.
They could have gotten an intentional safety. They could have just gone into the end zone, kneeled the ball, and then squib kicked it and said, okay, Vikings, I dare you to drive the field.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, like they could have done that. But instead, they gave up the touchdown. The only thing they could have done to lose the game. But then Josh Allen comes back out there, like you said, and he 41 seconds, no freaking problem. Let's drive the field. But on that drive, Gabe Davis has a catch that keeps the game going. Did you see the replay of that?
Mm-hmm.
Fully hit the ground. Like not kind of like fully hit the ground. They missed it, just kept on going. There was also another replay I saw this morning, Jail, where on the Dalvin Cook -2 yard run down there at the goal line, the Bills had 12 men on the field. And that wasn't called either. Did you see that?
Yeah.
The ref's missing a couple key ones. So maybe it's good that the Vikings pulled that win out after those calls going.
Bills probably weren't going to deserve it anyway since they were getting helped by the refs.
They still would have deserved it, right? It's part of the game, but I wouldn't hold it against them, but I'm glad the Vikings got the dub.
If a ref call leads to a win, I don't know that you deserve the game. But
it's not your fault that the ref call went that way.
That's
know
true,
what I mean? I don't hold it against the players.
But I don't assign like you should win or shouldn't win based off of your intent or like your fault or not your fault. It's just the circumstances of the game.
I guess I hear you. I guess in my mind, how I view it is like the players go out there and control everything that they can control. Like everything that they can control, they control. And then if they win the game, they deserve the win if they put in like the things that led to that, regardless of the external factors that went in. Like otherwise, every single game.
Was it Scott Angle that came on and ripped you for that one? The New York Giants?
Scott Angle came on. Yeah, I was talking about whether the Giants were good or not, and he pulled out the classic "You are what your record says you are" quote on me.
Right.
Put me in my place. Adam in here said, as a Bills fan, I was sad. As a fantasy manager playing against Josh Allen,
couldn't get
more excited.
I like that.
Josh Allen had a pretty good game. It wasn't bad.
He did. He had like 20 some points in most formats, which was solid. How are we doing in guillotine, Simon? Did we survive?
You are really, you need a solid 30-point performance from Antonio Gibson tonight, JL.
No, I'm going to get chopped.
It is not looking good for you this week, my friend.
No, I'm in the firm back end of this.
Yeah, you are in last by a decent chunk. You're in last by 21 points right now. So what you need tonight,
stealing everybody off the waiver wire, Simon.
You need Antonio Gibson to outscore Devonta Smith by 21.36 points tonight.
All right. Philly secondary, you know what to do. Just make Washington Commanders have to feed Antonio Gibson. I see why I'm in last place here.
Why? Because you suck.
It's because I left Kyler Murray in. I didn't have another QB.
Oh,
That
yeah, that'll
explains it.
do it. That'll do it. That'll
do
do
it.
it, Joe. Oops. Well, you could have been like me, and I got lucky, Joe, because I picked up a backup quarterback in case Josh Allen didn't play, and then forgot to
And
plug
then
him
left
in.
him in.
And then left Geno Smith on the bench and woke up and was like, "Ah, shoot, that game's going on."
Classic.
But Josh Allen played.
So I get for being sick on a fantasy weekend. How could I?
How dare you, John Luke? It's okay. I believe in you. I'm pulling for that dub tonight. It is highly unlikely, but within the range of outcomes for both of those players. Know what I mean? Like that is possible. What needs to happen for you tonight?
This is kind of crazy, Simon. Justin Jefferson's 193 receiving yards. That's a new career high for him, and is the most by any player in the NFL this season. Was put out by Vikings Communications. It's a pretty crazy stat.
It is. I'm curious, like what second was, because I'm remembering some huge games, like that Tyreek Hill game where him and Jalen Waddle both just absolutely went off. How many receiving yards did he have in that game? 193 is absurd. I want that frame of reference.
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Dale, do you think, Jay asked me this yesterday, do you think Justin Jefferson, or maybe Joey asked me, it was Joey who asked me, do you think Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver in the NFL?
I think that is a tough question. I think probably right now, yes. But I think like players like DeAndre Hopkins and Devontae Adams are probably better NFL wide receivers. I think Justin Jefferson is younger and he's got the talent that he could be number one and might be number one right now. But those guys also have this experience and that you just don't see in Justin Jefferson's play.
Man, I don't know how much more experience. That dude looks pretty experienced.
He looks fantastic. He looks fantastic for sure. Maybe it's just like a passing of the guard thing, though. You know, like DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Adams, those two guys have been like number one in my mind for a long time.
I think we're seeing I think we're in like a passing of the guard phase of the NFL. Know what I mean? Like I feel like we're seeing it. Happens with running backs every couple of years. Know what I mean? Like running backs, we're seeing it all the time, but it does feel like a lot of like the top wide receivers are getting older, and we have this new young generation of wide receivers, the Jamar Chase, the CeeDee Lamb, the Justin Jeffersons coming in and establishing themselves as like true ones, the superstars of the NFL. Then at quarterback, we've got Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, all kind of declining. Russell Wilson, right? On the decline, but we've got this next young class of quarterbacks coming in. Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence kind of stepping up into the
starting to take over
with the guys, the younger guys that are already there, the Josh Allen, the Patrick Mahomes. Younger. Wasn't that the name of the little dog on Invader Zim? Was it his name?
I don't know. I never watched Invader Zim.
That show hurts. That's a really cringy show. What were we talking about again?
We were talking about
Invader Zim. Passing of the guard.
Ah, yeah.
In Invader Zim.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's what it was.
Yeah. Tommy in here saying Herbert, Burrow, new guns. Absolutely. Man, talking about new guns, Justin Herbert out there on the field, that dude is special. Like I watched him out last night. He was throwing to Josh Palmer, DeAndre Carter, and Donkey from Shrek. Like he just had like the most random, like they couldn't fill that roster. He's not throwing to his real weapons. Mike Williams out. Keenan Allen out. Gerald Everett got injured early in that game, out. So he's got all backup receivers out there, and he still looks like a freaking machine. And then that hit he took, JL, that dude is a monster. He takes this massive hit to the head, right? Like this huge hit to the head, and he just gets up and walks off like nothing even happened, right? Like it didn't even faze him. He's got marks on his head from where the chin strap and helmet like twisted against him. His neck swung so hard. Like you could see the red marks from that. And dude just gets up and walks away like, yo, I'm good. I'm fine. I'm a robot. So good. I'm part machine.
He's so good. I was not bought into Justin Herbert whenever he came into the league. Quickly changed my mind.
Well, I mean, if you watched him at Oregon, you wouldn't have been a Justin Herbert fan. Dude, I don't know what the hell they were doing at Oregon, but they made him look like freaking like Mitch Trubisky in the NFL there at Oregon. I think it's coaching. I really do think it's coaching. It has to be, right? That's the explanation to go up to a
He
league
better
with
be
higher
pissed at his
competition.
coach then.
Oh, you should. Who was it there? Matt Arroyo? Was that the coach there whenever he was there? I can't remember. But
Albert in the chat said, "Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Albert. Glad to see
What
you, my
up?
friend."
What up, Albert? Welcome in. Guys, coming up, we are going to recap this Sunday night football game and then play some fast guy quick time a little bit later today as well. We've got our week 10 Hogs and Logs for you, and then we're going to do a Monday night football prop bet draft for tonight's game. And then maybe we've got some unpopular opinions for you on the back end of this show. Right now, you're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
The only person, I've said this to you before, who I believe back then, of all those power hitters who truly was clean, Ken Griffey Jr.
I mean, I think so when he got hurt.
Body didn't change.
We'll never know that
Not
for
hurt.
sure either.
Nah, dude,
We've seen guys who were not big take substances
that's true. I
to
just,
get busted. So it's not about that always.
I hear you. It's just, don't you think with the way his career kind of went, you would think that he didn't take anything?
I don't think that he did, but we'll never know 100%.
I'm going to keep telling myself that he didn't. The 1 year player, I mean, he's my favorite baseball player of all time. In the 1990s, Ron, as a kid, as a 5-year-old kid who plays video games and collected cards, there was no one cooler than Ken Griffey Jr. I still wear my hat backwards because Ken Griffey Jr. did it and he looked really cool doing that, wearing a backwards baseball cap. Like, he made everything the guy did looked cool. Even the home run in the movie Little Big League, it's acting, it's all, I guess, fake, but even he made that look cool. I mean, Ken Griffey Jr., you're a little bit older than me, but in the 90s, was there besides Michael Jordan, was there a more loved athlete than Ken Griffey Jr.?
Yeah, no, I love Griffey. He's one of my favorite players ever, from defensively to hitting his swing. And yeah, I would have loved to see what he could have done if he had stayed healthy, the final numbers he finished with. So no, I was a huge fan of Ken Griffey, and it's a shame though that all those injuries towards the end of his career just really limited the production he put up, but he still put up elite numbers. He was so fun to watch. So I'm a huge Ken Griffey guy.
And here's the other thing too. So 1994, the season got shortened because of the strike.
And he finished with 40 homers and 111. And then he had 56 2 years in a row, 97 and 98, and then 48. He had a stretch 4 years in a row, 49, 56, 56, 48, 40. I mean, unbelievable. And then, yeah, once he hit like 31, he started to miss games, 111, 70, 53, 83. So think about that, all those years that he lost, and he still hit 630 home runs, man.
Yeah.
So if he was clean, he would have been the all-time home run champion. Again, we're all guessing here, but you would think, all right, well, once he got into age 31, 32, that's when the body started breaking out, which is typical, right, for someone who's not using anything, whereas we saw with age, and we did not see that with Griffey. So look at 2001, where he's 31, he played on, look at the home runs decline, 8, 13, 20, 35, 27, 30, 18, 15 to his age 38 season. Even age 39 in 170 games, he had 19 home runs. So he probably would have definitely been the all-time home run leader had he been able to stay healthy.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. It's in the game.
Auto game.
Ow! Beautiful.
I'm all sorts of tangled over here.
What are you tangled in, Jail? A web of
My
lies?
cord is tangled underneath my desk, so I went to go pet Rosie during the break. It's all a big mistake. My blanket's all wrapped up in the wheels of my chair. I'm all sorts of messes over here.
I did a nice dog pet during my break as well, Jail. I went to go check on my friend Max. Max not doing so well. Max is not doing so well. He some days he's droopier than others. He's got an issue right now, and some days he gets really droopy towards one side, and we have to give him medicine. But it's been a droopy weekend for him. All of the previous 2 weeks he was good to go, and then I wake up Saturday morning and Max is sideways. He's just leaning, and it's cute, but it's sad because he walks up to you and he's just kind of leaning and
tilted.
He's just tilted, and it's really cute. I just call him Droopy and then cry a little bit because it is not good for him. Enough talking about my sick dog. Let's talk about this game that took place last night, Jail. The Sunday night football game between the San Francisco 49ers and the Los Angeles Chargers. The 49ers pulled out the W to get to 5-4, 22-16 in this one.
Was the only thing they pulled out.
What else did they pull out?
Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh, wow. From the oven? Or from their butt?
From their butt.
Do you think, what is Jimmy G, like, he's going to a Thanksgiving dinner where everyone's responsible for bringing a dish. Everyone has to bring something. What does Jimmy G bring to, like, the potluck Thanksgiving dinner?
He brings cranberry sauce.
From the can or homemade?
Can.
He
doesn't have time to cook. He's got like one of those super nice, like multi-million-dollar renovated kitchens, like multi-million-dollar house renovated kitchen. And he doesn't know how to cook anything. Never cooked in there once except for like a hot pocket.
But he's so hot that people like are afraid to like
so
tell him
hot.
no. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things where like he has no idea like what people actually think of him because he's so attractive. He shows up and he puts it down, and all night people are like, the cranberry sauce was so good, Jimmy. Like it just I've never had cranberry sauce this good.
Really?
What did you do to this? Are you not a cranberry sauce fan?
I don't like cranberry sauce.
I
personally.
love cranberry sauce, and I love it from the
Of course
can.
you do.
My
Of course you do.
girlfriend's family, they have a secret recipe where they make homemade cranberry sauce. And I get it. I'm not going to sit here and say that canned is better. I know for a fact that theirs is better. I like the canned better though. I like the gelatin. I like when you turn the can upside down and it goes
Ew.
and then plops out onto the plate.
Ew. What's the
Like,
matter with you?
God, it's so good. Also, we got Dustin here in the chat saying, "What's up, everyone? What's up, Dustin? You missed us talking about the third in the
We
AFC
shouted you out.
Buffalo Bills.
Yeah,
we
shouted you
we were
out.
talking about you and your third
Dustin's
place
like,
in their
"I'm outta
division
here."
Bills team. Well, we can talk about it again a little bit later. Don't worry.
I will
But
bring it up for you, buddy.
Dustin also said they pulled out CMC way too much. That's another thing they pulled out. Should have left CMC in there.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Pull-out game
man.
Too strong.
Pull out game too strong. It makes sense to me to use Elijah Mitchell the way they did. We talked about it a little bit earlier, Dale, but when you've got another back who can average close to 5 yards a carry, which this isn't an anomaly for him, right? He looked great last year whenever given the workload. Why not use both the backs? Why not use both of these guys?
Yeah, when CMC, is only doing 2.7, why not throw in your guy doing 4.9? That's like that's the big argument, right?
That's not what I'm saying. I did not say instead of
I
CMC. I'm gonna fight you, JL. Immediately turns my comment inflammatory.
There's two players that I feel like always get this yards per carry treatment.
Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott.
Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. That's what it is. Come
Hey,
on, where are all the Tony Pollard truthers now?
Yeah, Tony Pollard. Well, I think the problem is that the other guy getting 2.7 a carry is Christian freaking McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Middle name.
Yeah. Christian MF and McCaffrey.
Stands for Mother Fronter.
Mother Fronter.
What do you think his middle name actually is?
Paul.
I bet it's
I
David.
am almost positive it's Paul.
Really?
And I have nothing to base that off of.
His middle name is Jackson. Christian Jackson McCaffrey.
Knew it. Nailed it. First try.
Christian Jack Caffrey. You can combine them, and then it's just one name. What if he just randomly one day came in and was like, I go by Jackson now. And the whole
my name is Jackson.
My name is Jackson McCaffrey. Oh, that just doesn't. That sounds like a little brother name for some reason.
It does.
Like an annoying little brother name. Hey, it's me, Jackson McCaffrey.
Jackson McCaffrey and Jackson Mahomes are best friends.
100%. Maybe that's why it sounds like a little brother name, is because of Jackson Mahomes. Jimmy G had himself a decent game, but very average Jimmy G performance. 19 for 28 through 248 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions. Do you think this team can make it to the promised land, win a Super Bowl with Jimmy G at quarterback? Is he good enough to lead them there?
Yeah, he's done it before. He's done it before. He can absolutely do it again. Do I think that he will do it again this year? Maybe.
I knew
the jury is still out.
That's the classic jail move. Possibly. It could happen. It could happen.
I think it could happen, Simon. I think it absolutely could happen. And for you to say otherwise, I think is Garbanzo.
I've never said otherwise, Jalen. I'm just mocking you. But now I will say otherwise. I'm just kidding. No, it's within the range of outcomes. Whenever you look at the FanDuel Sportsbook, the odds to win the Super Bowl, they're fourth currently behind the Bills, Eagles, Chiefs, and then it's the 49ers.
Pretty good. Fourth is pretty good, Simon.
Bills still sitting there at the top at plus 380. Do you think the Bills still are the favorite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are.
Even with that loss to the Minnesota Vikings, they still got to put the Bills as favorites.
Yeah.
But that 49ers defense yesterday, JL, we talked about Jimmy Garoppolo. They looked fantastic. It felt like Justin Herbert was under pressure all night. But that being said, I was shocked whenever I looked at the stat sheet and saw he was only sacked 2 times. I could have sworn he spent more time on the ground yesterday just based on how often it felt like that defense was getting pressure on him. But he managed it pretty well. But that's a scary defensive front for the Niners.
Yeah, Nick Bosa. It's fantastic. That entire front is good. Justin Herbert, he held up though.
Did you see the Bosa mom in the crowd?
No.
She had a sewn down the middle jersey, half Niners, half Chargers for her 2 sons, and was over there. But then because Joey Bosa didn't play, they said they talked to her and she said normally I would cheer just for my sons and not the teams. But since Nick's playing and Joey isn't, I'm a 49ers fan tonight.
Oh,
so she was pulling for the Niners because Joey wasn't playing.
That's awesome. Oh, that's so fun. Can you imagine being your parent and your 2 kids are playing against each other in the NFL?
No.
It's gotta be fun.
That's got to be insane. It's probably crazy enough to be a parent and both your kids are on the varsity soccer team at the same time. You know what I mean? That's probably a shed a tear in the stands moment. If your freshman and senior both made the varsity team and they're out there on the field, then you're crying. If both your kids are in the NFL, I don't know, you're probably past crying at that point and just celebrating. It's probably pure parental joy. I don't know what that feels like though, JL. I'm not a parent.
It feels great.
You're a parent?
Yeah. To have both your kids in the NFL at the same time feels fantastic.
Feels fantastic. We had a question in here from Will JL. He said, I need 15 points from the Philly defense and their kicker, Elliott. What are the chances of that happening tonight?
I think your chances are pretty decent. I'd give you a 47% chance of winning here. Maybe even a slightly more. Just Philadelphia defense is fantastic. They're looking great. I think that they could have a few takeaways tonight. You know what? I put your chances at 53%. What about you, Sam?
I was going to go above that. I was going to go around 55 to 60%. I like your chances. Philly defense should get you minimum 10 points, right? Then you get a field goal and a couple extra points from your kicker. You're feeling good. I think you got this one, Will. I'll give you a 60% chance. Final answer at pulling that W out.
60% chance. 53 and 60%. That's pretty good.
Average those and you get something in between 53 and 60.
56 and the 6.
56 and a half. Good job, JL. That was good math.
Did we say morning to Jay here?
No.
Good morning, Jay. Jay in here saying morning, guys.
I should have gone into a good morning after that instead of just
No.
No, we did not.
No.
What's up, Jay? We also got Jeff in here wanting to know, should I trade Deonta Foreman and George Pickens for Jalen Waddle? Yes.
Yeah.
I would absolutely do that. Not that those are pieces that are just throwaway pieces. Foreman's a serviceable running back. You can probably start rest of season, but Waddle is Waddle. He's a top 10 wide receiver with the potential to be the number 1 scoring guy on any given week.
I agree with you, Simon. I agree with you.
You agree with me?
I agree with you, buddy.
Look at us in sync this morning. Joe, it was a disappointing game from Austin Eckler yesterday. He had 6 carries for 24 yards and then 7 receptions off 12 targets for 39 yards. So he still got it done for you in PPR with those 7 receptions, right? It was enough to save his week, but it wasn't the Austin Eckler performance that we're used to. Do you have any concerns about him, or do you think this was just a tough defense and not his game?
I think it was just tough defense, not his game. I'm not too worried. What about you?
No, I have no concerns for Austin Eckler. Maybe it's the one piece on this team that you have no concerns for.
Still got 13.3 points, which is pretty decent.
It's fine, right? If that's a bad week for Austin Eckler, then you're totally good with it.
12 targets, that's crazy for a running back.
I mean, I guess with Mike Williams and Keenan Allen out, It's Josh Palmer, DeAndre Carter, and Austin Eckler as the lead dogs in this receiving game. Like, I know Austin Eckler's are back, but he's got to get involved in that receiving game whenever they have so many of their receiving weapons out.
Yeah. I'm
And
with you.
Trey McKitty with 6 targets, right? Like, if Trey McKitty's getting 6 targets. Good point. I didn't think about it that way.
Well,
What is, if you were to go to McDonald's and order the McKitty, what would they put in your bag?
you don't want to know. You don't want to know that. You're asking too many questions, my friend.
That's when McDonald's gets shut down. Like the
Yeah.
McRib we could put up with, but the
There's a
McKitty
cat in
has
the
gone
kettle, in the
too
kettle at
far.
the silver spoon.
I'm imagining it like it's not cat, but it's like cat litter on a bun, like, or it's something like that. Like it's just like a dipping sauce.
Ugh.
Joey in here keeping track of all your quotes. We had good early, and now we've got
Meow. Meow.
meow. What show is it where there's, or maybe there's like a show with giant talking cats, but they speak like they say like meow, like they say meow in like a manly voice. Do you know
I
what
have
I'm
no
talking
idea.
about?
No idea what you're talking
Just
about.
remembered. It's my favorite anime, Log Horizon. And it's
Log
not all
Horizon.
cats. They're just like is a
Hogs and Logs.
there just is a cat in that show that talks like that. Joey thinks he says it is Salo. I've never seen that, Joey. So that is not what I'm referring to, but maybe it fits that requirement. I can check it out. And Dustin said Thundercats. No, but Thundercats is a badass show.
Thundercats.
So before you meowed, we were talking about Trey McKitty. 6 targets, 3 receptions, 21 receiving yards. If Gerald Everett misses more time, do you have any interest in Trey McKitty as a streaming tight end?
No. I think that they'll have. I mean, they have multiple players who are out right now. Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. I'm not gonna hang my hat here on Trey McKitty.
No, but 6 targets is something to pay attention to. But I'm with you, JL. It's not just Gerald Everett injured. It's Gerald Everett injured. It's Mike Williams out. It's Keenan Allen out. And they were talking yesterday that Mike Williams was on the field doing some pretty aggressive pregame warm-ups, saying that he, or not pregame warm-ups, like exercises out there, and saying that he feels like he's ahead of schedule right now. So maybe we see Mike Williams sooner than we thought, and hopefully Keenan Allen's back next week.
You know who we did see in this game, Simon, was Ray McLeod. He averaged 33 yards per catch. Pretty good.
Ray McLeod. Go Tigers. Am I right or am I right?
Go Tigers.
But did he have 1 catch for 33 yards, Jale? Is that why he averaged 33 yards a catch?
Yeah, that is true.
Oh, 1 catch for 30. Hey, when your number's called, you execute. You know what I mean? 1 target, 1 reception, 33 yards. He's batting 100%.
I just want to show Ray McLeod some love.
Brandon Ayuk dropped 1 of his targets. Ray McLeod didn't drop a single one of his. Christian McCaffrey dropped 2 of his targets or did not catch them. Maybe they were bad targets. Ray McLeod season? Not a single pass drop. Not one.
Your fantasy fortune puzzle the other day, Simon, Ray McLeod with the chance of meatballs. Excellent.
Thank you. I was proud of that one. That was
a good one.
It was one of those ones where like it felt so good when I came up with it. I was like, there's no way we haven't done this one already.
You think?
You know I was like, surely we've done this one. And I went through and looked and I couldn't find it. And I messaged Jay. I was like, have we done Ray McLeod with a chance of meatballs? Watch next week. It's going to be Ray McLeod with a chance of meatballs 2. I'm just going to use the same puzzle and put a sequel in there instead.
That's pretty good. Now I know what to look for.
Now I'm not going to do it.
Jay asking, where do you guys have Fields ranked now with these 40 pieces? Where are you ranking Justin Fields for the season?
It's a tough question. I want to think about it like what quarterbacks would I rather have over Fields rest of season, right? Because just throwing a number out there is going to be tough. Josh Allen, I would still prefer Josh Allen over Justin Fields rest of season. Patrick Mahomes, give me Patrick Mahomes rest of season. Jalen Hurts, give me Jalen Hurts rest of season. Lamar Jackson, I'll take Lamar Jackson rest of season. Tua Tagovailoa, give me Tua Tagovailoa rest of season.
I'm with you so far. Kyler Murray,
give me Justin Fields.
Justin Fields. So what about Herbert?
Herbert's above him as well. I'll take Herbert over Justin Fields, I think. That's about where the line is, right? That's about where that line is. Give me Justin Fields rest of season.
Yeah, I think I'm with you.
I'll put him at 6 or 7. Rest of season is where I'm putting him. But he's in every single week start. He's got some tough matchups. If he puts up 1 or 2 more 40-point games, Jalen, I'm just going to say screw it and start him against the Eagles and the Bills in the playoffs. Like if we get another one of these 100+ rushing yard games, or just like I don't care. Like it's getting to the point where it's just going to be like I would feel stupid for benching him because the matchup is a tough one. If this offense keeps rolling like that.
I want to see him in a tough matchup is the thing. Like I want to see him perform well in a tough matchup.
Packers is not an easy matchup defensively. You know what I mean? I believe they've got the Packers coming up. Yeah. So like if he can get it done, there, they've got Jets. There we go. There's another one. If he takes the next 3 weeks and balls out, I'm totally cool going into week 15 after his bye, which is probably your playoffs, your fantasy playoffs, going into that starting Justin Fields. I'm with you, Simon. And Jay said, like above Joe Burrow for me, he is.
Yeah.
Also, Jeff letting us know he did in the Cowboys game. That's 100% true. So there's a game that he performed in. That's a pretty tough defense as well.
Yeah. Tougher.
Wild what Justin Fields is doing right now, but exciting to watch. Man, that long touchdown run Justin Fields had this week was just beautiful. Just gorgeous. We're supposed to be talking 49ers right now, but Justin Fields finds a way to take over the conversation. It's been fun watching him turn into a star this year.
We had Jeff Johnson ask thoughts about Patterson going forward. What do you think about Cordero Patterson rest of the season, Simon?
Not good.
Man, went from good to not good so quick.
I know. I didn't expect it to be like a full-on split in this backfield, but that looks like what they're doing. Tyler Algier, Caleb Huntley, Avery Williams has even gotten involved a little bit, and then Patterson's there. Patterson should get the most work, but Algier's there knocking on the door to take over this starting job. So you can start him, but man, in this Falcons offense with the backfield being split the way it is, I'm not excited. Like an RB3.
Yeah.
That might be optimistic.
I think you're right, Simon. I think you are right. 39% of snaps last week, 38% of snaps this week. Went from 13 carries to 5 carries, 44 yards to 18 yards, and from 2 touchdowns to 0 touchdowns for a whopping 5.9 fantasy points this week. Not very good in half PPR formats.
Boo! But Patterson, I still love you. You're the man.
But boo!
His tweets were cracking me up about fantasy managers this weekend.
Yeah, they were funny.
He was cracking me up. Guys, coming up, we are going to welcome Joey Wright to the show for the rest of the day. I'm going to get rid of my hiccups. We're going to play some Fast Guy Quick Time, go over some Week 10 Hogs and Logs, and we've got our Week 10 Monday Night Football prop bet draft coming up as well. You're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Better Sports Live with Rick Kamla. That's 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific.
Is the best current coach in the NFL. He's better than Belichick. Belichick has lost his way. He's better than Tomlin. He's better than Harbaugh. He's better than Shanahan. He's better than McCarthy down in Dallas. He's better than all of the gangster NFL coaches right now. Sean McDermott up in Buffalo. He's better than all these guys. Andy Reid is the greatest gangster that we have at head coach in the NFL right now. And I understand that you're saying, well, Belichick is the GOAT, Cam. How can that be true? Now you're bringing up old stuff. Bill Belichick can't draft anymore, okay? Talk to me. Nick Chubb, Sony Michel. Talk to me. DK Metcalf, Debo Samuel versus N'Keal Harry. Okay, talk to me. This dude has lost his way. Remember the year when he should have bottomed out and just tanked, but he couldn't, and he went and got Cam Newton, and they were a mediocre team, right? He's lost his way. And not that he can't coach up a good defense and that kind of thing, but overall, he's lost his way. Andy Reid's an absolute badass. They draft great. He's a great coach, makes the right decisions, when to go for it, when to kick, when to punt. The guy's the man.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
I hate the stupid unsportsmanlike conduct. As long as you're not disrespectful to the opponent, you should be allowed to celebrate.
How I used to say it, and to bring up, because now basketball's starting, I'm going to bring up
personal stuff. Oh, dude, it's even worse than basketball, isn't it?
So Dikembe Mutombo, who used to get teed up in the 2000s, the 90s, they didn't give a crap. 2000s, though, when they tightened up the rules, they used to tee him up more when he did the Dikembe finger wag. But they wouldn't tee him up if he did it to the crowd instead of looking at, like, Eton Thomas, like one time I remember, and doing it right to him, or when his back was turned, doing it right to him. If he did it to the crowd, they would never call it. And so that makes me wonder if these players, while, yeah, they want to talk a little smack, maybe they should flex towards the crowd than at the player who they're standing over.
I guess.
I know it's soft, man.
It is soft.
Because you know what?
Like we're gonna give 15 yards for that,
bro. They think that, you don't want to know why they're paranoid. They think that's gonna turn into a fight.
See, I disagree with that. That's not going to start a fight.
I agree with you. They don't agree with us.
It's one thing, okay, if you spit in someone's face or say something derogatory, like about their family or something,
right.
Yeah, that can excite you. But if you're just like, yeah, I made that play, what? You know what I mean? Like, again, they know the rules. You got to know you're going to get flagged. You have to have discipline. But, like, I don't know. I have no problem with celebration as long as it's not disrespectful.
What's disrespectful? You know,
it's interpretation, and that's my problem. Watch, it's going to cost someone in a big playoff game, and that's when people are going to go crazy. There'll be a third down play. Someone makes a pass breakup, and they're in someone's face. They're going to throw a flag. It'll extend the drive. That team scores, wins the playoff game because of it. You need something drastic for it to really leave an imprint, and I hope that doesn't happen to mine.
Better Sports Network is betting, fantasy, collectibles. It's sports talk done better.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. Joining us right now, we've got our friend and Front Yard fan member, Joey Wright. What's up, Joey?
I'm a grumpy boy this morning.
Joey, welcome to the Grumpy Boy Club.
I'm a grumpy boy. My main home league. I am the top scoring team in the league, and I am 4-6 after last night, and that is just not a good feeling.
It's my favorite thing for people to complain about.
God, it's just like, let's normalize median scoring, only because it's affecting me personally. Thank you. This is my TED Talk.
I'm with you, Joey. I'm in the same, wholeheartedly, without a sense of self-awareness. Whenever I have a team like yours, I'm like, we have to have median scoring. But whenever I'm the other team that's 9-2 and I'm the third lowest scoring team in the league, I'm like, this is fantasy, baby. I just
get used to it, suckers.
I'll even have those thoughts simultaneously across different leagues. At the same time, we gotta have median scoring. And then in this one, suck it up. Yeah. Fantasy sucks, bro.
The guy that beat me is the nicest guy in the world. So it's all right, I'm upset about it, but it was Austin. And
it's just one of those things where nobody actually cares about your fantasy team except you. And so whenever I feel whenever somebody complains about I'm the highest scoring team, but the most points scored against, I'm just like, nobody cares. Boo-hoo.
Yeah, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Yeah. I was fuming at the red lights today while I was dropping my kids off. I can't believe that. Gerald Everett leaves the game early. All he had to do is catch one more pass. I would have won.
It's I held this grudge against Mark Brunell for the longest time as a kid, just because I was like, wow, you always get hurt. What's the matter with you? Stop always getting hurt.
As a kid, Jail just going in on these pro athletes. You idiot. It's not that hard. Jail's I've been hurt once in my life, and you're over here getting hurt every other week.
And I played through it.
Yeah, I had a broken arm, and they still let me play in my 600 soccer league. Brunell. Also, Hal,
now he's the Lions coach.
Hal said, "Can I just say good morning and good day? Welcome in, Hal. Glad to have you here.
Good
Welcome,
day,
Hal."
He said, I'm so good at this. My fantasy team is third last in points and third last in standings. It's beautiful.
That's consistent.
It's pretty good. So, it's consistent.
And he said,
you are exactly what you think you are.
I do actually care about other bad teams. We need a support group.
See, Hal, that's the thing. My team's not bad. It's good. That's what's annoying.
My team
really
is good. It's good.
Yeah.
Trust me. It's so good. It just hasn't reached its potential.
What makes it fun.
We had some questions come in here before we get into Fast Guy Quick Time. Jay said, I have Marquise Brown on my bench. Is he worth holding on to? Joey, if you've got Marquise Brown on your bench, are you holding on to him for when he comes back from injury?
I'm snuggling him in a tight embrace, and I'm holding on until he's back.
Sit him on the forehead.
So you think he'll be fantasy relevant whenever he gets back in this offense?
I do. I think Kyler will be back. And I think this offense is kind of one of the more exciting ones as we head down the stretch, with DeAndre Hopkins going. And then Rondell Moore looked really good yesterday with Colt McCoy. So, yeah.
He did. Jail, are you holding on to Marquise Brown?
He should be able to be back after this week, right? 4 weeks. We just don't know what the issue with what the situation with his foot is. But, yeah, I'm holding on to him. He's this Arizona offense is going to be good once they get Kyler back, once they get Marquise Brown back. I'm excited for him. So I am also doing what Joey's doing. I'm just curling up in that bed with the three of them. We're getting cozy.
We'll scoot over. I hope it's a twin bed because I'm climbing on top.
I hope it's a twin bed
because I'm just laying across the top of all three of you guys. JB Barry in here said, but I'm sure your team has a really nice personality, Joey.
Hey, JB. I'm going to be on JB's show tonight, actually.
The nicest personality.
Yeah, his
Good
team
morning,
is so
JB.
sweet. It's so sweet.
Yeah. Got a dump trunk butt, though.
Oh, a real dump truck. JB Cho and you says just hopping on to say good morning, y'all. Rock Justin Fields.
Good morning, my friend.
Yeah, Fields is he has arrived.
He has arrived and arrived again and arrived again.
Yeah.
He's arrived and then screamed his name at the top of his lungs from a mountaintop to let everyone know. We have another question here from Luca.
Justin
Luca
Fields.
Magic. Says, is Christian Watson worth the #1 waiver? And would you start Watson for Allen Robinson in a half PPR league? So, JL, is Christian Watson worth that #1 waiver priority?
It's going to depend. It's going to depend on your league. It's going to depend on your team and how badly do you need a wide receiver? Because Christian Watson, yeah, he's a rookie. He's good. We're getting into the second half of the season, which is the time that you want to have rookie wide receivers who are going into their prime, who are finding who are going to hitting their stride, but he's also a wide receiver, and he did this past week every single week. So I wouldn't necessarily burn my #1 waiver priority if I don't need to.
Well, Joey, is Christian Watson someone you would start over Allen Robinson in a half PPR league going forward?
If Romeo Dubs is out, if Alan Lazard goes missing again, I mean, we won't know that, but I'm actually okay starting Watson. I mean, he's really shown that Aaron Rodgers has built some trust with him, so I'm happy to start him. I don't know about the #1 waiver priority though. That part of the question, I was like, but I don't mind starting him as a flex or a wide receiver 3.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. He's startable. I'm not sure I'm burning my #1 waiver priority on him, but we are getting to that point in the season, right? Like it's getting down to the end of the season. If you don't use it, like he's a good player to use it on. He could step into this #1 role, but I don't know.
That's why it's tricky. That's why it's kind of a tricky question.
Yeah, somebody asked earlier about Kadarius Toney or Christian Watson, and I really was just, man, I don't know who I'd rather have.
That one's easier for me.
Is it?
Yeah, that one's easier. More easily Watson, mainly because it's with the #1 waiver priority, it's like, oh, what could become available, right? As we're getting closer to the playoffs, there are going to be injuries. There are going to be players who are feeling those injuries. So I don't know. I don't think I'd rather have that. I'd value that higher than Kadarius Toney.
Makes sense. Guys, it is time for one of our new games, one of our new favorite games, Fast Guy Quick Time. Fast Guy Quick Time. For those of you that have not played this game with us before, JL's going to explain to you how this works.
Yes, I'm going to thank you for that. I'm going to.
Is that his first prompt?
Ask these people here, these co-hosts, a list of questions rapid style. So I'm going to ask very quickly. They're going to answer as quickly as they possibly can in the spirit of the game without really thinking about it much. We're going to go through a list of these. Each of us is going to be given a list that we have to answer. Pretty straightforward, right, guys?
Yep. We played this a couple weeks ago when I was on, correct?
Correct.
We did.
And I let my wife watch my segment that I was on, and I slept on the couch for 2 nights. So I'm sure today's going to go really well.
Let's see if we can break that record today.
All right. Joey, you were going to go first on this one.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yep.
All right.
Let me get my. Okay, I'm ready.
Give me 1 second. All right, cool. All right, Joey. Remember, your goal here, your objective is to answer as quickly as possible. All right. If you stall, I'm going to start making fun of you. You're not going to like it because I'm going to start going after real insecurities.
Okay.
Go really for that ego there. All right, Joey. Here we go. First question. What's your favorite meal?
Boiled egg.
Last video game you played?
Breath of the Wild.
You're going to sleep, socks or no socks?
Oh, no socks. Disgusting.
Do you want to be a forest ranger?
Yes.
Are you Smokey the Bear in human form?
No.
Are you sure?
Maybe.
Nickname for your junk.
Stanley.
How do you try and live your life?
Whatever Stanley tells me to do.
Favorite movie.
Almost Famous.
What food is better canned?
Boiled egg.
Crime you're most likely to commit.
Murder.
Place you feel most uncomfortable being in.
Busch Gardens.
Nickname you wish people called you.
Stanley.
Stanley. Yeah, right. Well done, Joey.
Thank you.
Well done.
Murder.
Listen, it's all in there.
That didn't make me feel better. That made me feel worse. I said, Joey goes, "Yep, it's just living in there. Murder. That's what's on the mind.
Living in there."
Oh my God.
All right. Well done, Joey. Well
Thank
done,
you.
Joey. Simon, you are next. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I've never been more ready. If we're being
I was
honest,
just
I'm a little nervous.
I was very afraid you were going to make fun of me, so I was really going top of my head.
I was going to make fun of you if you didn't. All right, Simon, here is your questions. What's your name?
Simon.
How old are you?
28.
What's your gender?
Male.
People who inspire you.
Barack Obama.
Bad smell that you actually like.
Rubber cement.
What is your favorite room in your home?
The bathroom.
Favorite president?
Barack Obama.
What is your favorite slang word?
Yeah.
Piece of clothing you refuse to throw away.
My denim jacket.
NFL team name you would change.
The Browns.
Place you think is magical.
The bathroom.
Quick. Object you've hidden in your underwear.
Marbles.
What would your
Whoops.
What's your wrestling name?
Glitter sparkles.
Last place you were naked.
In my office.
What do you usually eat as the last meal of the day?
Cookies.
Well done. Well done, Simon.
I feel like I could have answered all of Simon's questions.
He just goes,
that makes me feel good.
Well done, Simon.
I panicked for a second there. So nothing gets my heart racing like Fast Guy Quick Time. Like, because
Quick Time.
I don't even have any like real secrets that I could expose. Know what I mean? Like, there's nothing about me that I could expose that would truly humiliate me. But I'm so nervous that you're gonna find something that even I know I don't want to admit. Like,
you have to.
But I have to.
The marbles a true story?
The marbles is a true story. Marbles.
You've hidden marbles in your underwear?
Well, when my child.
This is gonna be good. This is gonna be really good.
No, it's just so stupid. It's beyond stupid. When I was 5 years old, my friend Dylan and I, shout out Dylan. He's like met him in kindergarten. We're like lifelong friends. We thought we were really funny, and we had a bunch of marbles, and we stuffed them in our underpants, and then we ran around the house jumping up and down as they would fall out, and we called them poop crumbs. So we would like go into the kitchen and jump up and down like, oh, there's poop crumbs falling out, as marbles were just like falling out of our pants, hitting the floor.
That's hilarious.
And Hal said Simon and I may be the same person. I have to assume he also put marbles in his underpants, and that's why he's saying that.
Scott Fish in the chat saying, I'm still riding a high after yesterday, beating those Bills. I bet.
Yeah, buddy.
The Vikings team.
I imagine that game was in Buffalo, man. If that game was in Minnesota, that would have been wild because they were hyping up the revenge game the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Insane. Vikings fans have to be riding an absolute high. We always talk about the Ravens as being a team that's exciting to watch every game. I feel like the Vikings low key have been doing that as well. Know what I mean? Like, I feel like people aren't talking about it, but they play close games over and over and over again.
Because Kirk Cousins sucks.
They pull out that victory, and that's all you can say, JL. Your hate knows no bounds.
Blows.
JL,
I think I've come over to JL's side about Kirk Cousins. I've really started to dislike him.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a piece of poop. It's poop crumb.
Now that Carson Wentz isn't around, I have to find somewhere else to channel all my hatred, and I think it's going towards Kirk Cousins. So I think I'm going to join you on this journey, JL.
I love it. You're very welcome here.
Hal said my little sister would hide rocks in her diaper. Now she's an ER doctor. And yes, I have hidden mini toys in my undies.
Yes, to answer your question.
Dustin said, next. Doesn't want to talk about Kirk Cousins anymore. Well, JL, you're not getting out of this one. You're going to play some fast guy quick.
Yeah.
With his chains.
Disrespectful. Dale, are you ready for some fast guy quick time? You got to play.
I got to play?
You got to play.
No, I'm
You
not
ready?
playing. Oh, fine. All right.
I'm going to ask questions, and if you don't answer, you don't answer, and then we just awkwardly sit
All right,
here.
lay him on me, Pops.
Here we go. Round 1. Sunrise or sunset?
Sunrise.
Best fashion advice you've ever gotten?
Don't wear socks.
Nickname your parents used to call you when you were little?
Lou.
Tell me a secret.
I have big feet.
Name a song that makes you happy.
That song Happy by Pharrell.
Thing that scares you but you're afraid to admit.
The dark.
What's the worst thing about being a man?
Poops.
Food you will eat past the expiration date.
Cheese. Most cheeses.
Most feminine thing about you.
My music.
Thing you wish you could change.
Racism.
What makes you gag?
Food.
Beautiful, JL. Beautifully
Food.
done. Food makes you gag, just in general.
Just
JL.
all food.
Sometimes.
I'm glad.
You're glad what, Joey?
The jail wants to change racism. That made me happy.
Yeah, I want to change that, please.
That was very
Can we?
sincere. I like that.
Cheese, I mean, that's a good food to eat past the expiration date,
Yeah.
right? Cheese is already
I don't
like,
know that I would. Like,
I mean,
I don't
but,
know
like,
that I should or could or
cheese
do.
is already rotten, right?
Yeah. If it doesn't have the green stuff on it, you can eat it past the little numbers.
Green stuff.
Yeah.
Who
Little fuzzy green things, you know?
Who came up with cheese, and was it an accident? Know what I mean?
I
'Cause,
don't
like,
know. Who's the first person that was like, milked a cow and was like, yep.
Well,
I'm gonna
that
try
one makes
that.
more sense to me because they probably saw a baby cow getting some drink, right? And then they were like, I'm thirsty too. Let me just copy
That
what
makes
that
a
baby
lot
cow.
more sense.
But then
In my mind, there are already farmers who were like, had cows and were like, wait a minute.
this looks like a handle. I
Your way
recognize
makes
that.
way more sense.
There was a TikTok I saw not too long ago where it was a skit about someone discovering the first person to discover that cows can be milked in jail. It was very much in tune with like what you were saying. Like they were like, I was out there on the farm and I saw something that looked a little familiar on one of those cows. Like, and the farmer was like, disgusting, stop it. Like that was the whole bit, is that it was a pervert that discovered that you could milk a cow. I'll have to find that video, see if I can send it to you. Guys, we had some questions come in the chat during that Fast Guy Quick Time. Good job, everyone. But I wanted to answer these questions. Dennis in here said, half PPR. I could only drop Rachaad White, Lazard, or Garrett Wilson for Christian Watson, Toney, Westbrook Ikine, or Darius Slayton. OBJ is still available before waivers, and I'll need a QB come week 13. When do I pick up Deshaun? So a lot of information in here.
A lot of questions there.
When do you guys pick up Deshaun Watson if he's who you want
Now.
as your quarterback for week 13? Now, JL, that's the time?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you got to now. We're getting into week 12. He'll be back. So we're going into week 11. It already might be too late. You're going to get to be fighting probably people in the waiver.
Yeah, this is probably your last chance to add him. If you don't add him, somebody else is going to, if he's still out there on your waiver wire. As far as who to drop, though, which one of these players would you guys be looking at dropping? Rachaad White, Allen Lazard, or Garrett Wilson?
I don't want to drop either of those three for anyone
No.
listed there.
Nope.
I really don't.
Rachaad White looked great yesterday. Allen Lazard,
Yeah,
Garrett Wilson are both top options in their offense. I'm not dropping anyone. I'd rather have Lazard over Christian Watson. They're in the same offense.
Yeah, I guess if you have to drop one of those three to pick up Deshaun Watson because you need a quarterback, I guess it would be Garrett Wilson. I don't want to do that though.
Yeah,
I'd rather have Lazard over Wilson though. So
I agree.
Scott Fish said he was picked up in most leagues before the last games, talking about Deshaun Watson. Yeah, I think you're already sort of late. So now
You're going to be fighting on the waiver wire for him this week. Hal had a question for us as well. Said Donovan Peoples-Jones or Christian Watson?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
It's a good one, isn't it?
I have a cop-out answer.
Let's hear it.
If you need someone to hit a home run, go grab Christian Watson. But if you want someone that's just going to get you like 10 to 12 fantasy points that you can depend on putting in your lineup when the matchups not even necessarily need to be good, because Donovan Peoples-Jones has been getting like 7 targets a week, and it's just like consistent work. He has not had a touchdown yet. But if you need just a consistent, spot filler, I might lean towards DPJ.
Joe, what about you? Are you in agreement with Joey here?
I think I'm going to lean DPJ. I think I'm not necessarily fully aligned with Joey with what Joey's saying, because I think that Deshaun Watson coming back is going to be a big boost for Donovan Peoples-Jones. I think that's going to give him upside that he hasn't had previously. Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs being out definitely helps him. This offense, though, I'm not particularly confident in. So,
yeah,
I'm going to lean DPJ here. It is close. It's very close.
I'm going to lean DPJ. I'm going to lean DPJ as well here. But
Wow.
Joey, I do kind of agree with you. I do think he's got a safer volume. Like, we've seen it consistently from DPJ, that volume going his way. We haven't seen that for Christian Watson. So I just trust it a little bit more. That's not to say the upside doesn't exist, but it's the consistency that puts him above Watson for me. And we'll see if that upside exists whenever Deshaun Watson comes in.
Yeah.
Jane here wants to know Tyler Boyd, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Paris Campbell, or Christian Watson rest of season. So we all kind of picked DPJ. Joey, there was a caveat to yours. If you need upside, Christian Watson. Throwing Tyler Boyd and Paris Campbell in the mix as well. Is one of those guys over DPJ and Watson for you?
Yeah, I would probably grab Tyler Boyd. And I was talking last night about Paris Campbell, and if Matt Ryan's the quarterback, I really do believe in Paris Campbell rest of the season, because the coaching staff, not the coach, but the ownership really believes in Paris Campbell. They came out and said it. Was like 6 weeks ago, and then that's when Paris Campbell's games were happening great with Matt Ryan. Stanley Ellinger comes in, and who knows what happened there? But yeah.
That's about
So,
what
but
happened
I would
there.
lean Tyler Boyd. Just with Chase out probably till around the fantasy playoffs, he seems like he's just going to get great work. So I'm happy with Tyler Boyd. I think he's still, maybe after this week he's not anymore, but he was like a top 12 wide receiver.
Jail, are you leaning Tyler Boyd with Joey here?
Yeah, I am. I'm leaning Tyler Boyd. Who was there was a fourth one in here that I'm missing.
Paris
Boyd,
Campbell.
DPJ, Camp. Yeah, so I would go Boyd, DPJ, Watson, Campbell is the order I put those in rest of the season.
Campbell last.
Yeah.
I got Campbell a little bit higher for me. But I think it is Boyd.
First?
No, Boyd's still first. But then I think Campbell, DPJ are in a similar tier. And then I'll put Watson last on that list for me. But he's got some serious upside. Like if this was his coming out game, know what I mean? Aaron Rodgers trusts him. He's going to see more targets. Then we could all be looking back at this like, man, we should have seen that coming after that 3 touchdown game from Christian Watson. That being said, I'm not necessarily calling for it. But that's why I think he's a good waiver ad. Put him on your bench and see if he's the guy in this offense now. Guys, coming up, we are going to go over our Week 10 Hogs and Logs. And then we've got our Monday Night Football prop bet draft coming up as well. Right now, you're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Front Yard Fantasy, weekday mornings at 7 Eastern.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just banning the porn bots real quick.
Whenever the porn bots, I will say, dude, whenever the porn bots show up, it means we're doing something good. It means that we're showing up. So, you know, they wouldn't find us if we weren't, if the live stream wasn't good. So, you know what? We welcome you here. Tinder-hot-.xyz-best adult dating site. One of our biggest fans.
I detach all of my self-worth to how many porn bots come into our show in the morning. If we don't get any porn bots, I go the rest of the day thinking like, what did I do wrong? Why didn't Tinder-xyz.com want to hang out with me this morning?
Yeah. People ask, how was the show? I'm like, not that good.
No porn bots.
Porn bots showed up.
Moose and Keith, weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern.
Because I never asked you this. When Noah was growing up, when did Noah first where you got a sense that this is what my son wanted to do?
I was really busy during his formative years. I didn't meet Noah until he was about 19.
Nice.
So,
your wife did a good job.
Yeah, you may want to talk to him. I would say about first vision, he started showing a legitimate interest. He started getting curious about how I prepared, what it required, and then I saw a little bit of a shift, 14, 15, where he was concentrating on the on-cameras, the interaction between play-by-play and analyst, and started probably taking mental notes at that point of the performance aspect of, okay, you do all this prep, but you got to go out and deliver it. So, yeah, probably that 14, 15 range, I thought to myself, this could be something he really wants to do.
Better Sports Network is betting, fantasy, collectibles. It's Sports Talk done better.
Hey, welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We are about to get into our segment we're calling Hogs and Logs. We're going to go game by game, bringing down which players were absolute hogs this week and which players were logs. You boys ready?
Oh, yeah.
I'm ready.
Oh, yeah. Jail Channel and the Kool-Aid. We got a Jerry Seinfeld impression out of you today. We got a Kool-Aid Man impression out of you.
Oh, yeah.
Seinfeld. I need to go back and watch that.
Do it again, Jail.
It wasn't really a Jerry Seinfeld. It was like a exaggerated Jerry Seinfeld. It's a caricature of Jerry Seinfeld.
It was anime Jerry Seinfeld.
It was anime Jerry Seinfeld. Big eyes Jerry Seinfeld.
What's the deal with airline food? It was dubbed. That's what it was right there.
Oh, that's what that was.
Jail's
pretty
was
good,
much
Simon.
better than mine.
It's pretty good.
No, I can't do the dub mouth. Some people are so good at like making it look like they're talking something else. I practiced. Didn't get it down.
What's your favorite anime, Simon?
I already said it on this show. Log Horizon is my number one of all
that's
time.
right,
If you like the idea of Sword Art Online but think it sucks ass, then check out Log Horizon.
What if you like Sword Art Online?
Then check out Log Horizon anyways because it's better. It's a similar concept. They're stuck in a video game, but they just execute on it so much better.
Is that a series, like an anime series, or is that a anime movie?
It's a series. There's like 2 seasons of it.
I really tried to bond with you by watching some anime movies, and I really enjoyed them, but I haven't seen any series.
And the movies you watched were some killer anime movies, Joey.
I watched Perfect Blue.
Unbelievable.
Really I bought that one.
Yeah. Dale, have you seen that movie?
I have not.
You should watch it. I think Joey has it on HD DVD behind him.
Mm-hmm.
If you have an HD DVD player, you can borrow it from Joey. Before we get into our hogs and logs, we had some questions come in here. Jay said, is James Conner a sell high? I didn't watch the game, so I don't know how he looked, by the way. Joey, are you trying to sell high on James Conner, or are you just going to keep plugging him in?
I'm going to keep plugging him in. I think what we saw, I kind of talked about it with the Buffalo game, where you had an injured quarterback leaning on the running game inside the 10. I think Arizona is going to move back to that because that's what they did last year, where James Conner had all those rushing touchdowns inside the 10-yard line. With Kyler Murray being a little banged up, I think that they'll start leaning more on James Conner to score some of those touchdowns, and you're going to want to have that on your team. So I'm holding James Conner if I can.
I'm with you. There's a reason he got 15 rushing touchdowns last year, and we saw it in this game. Like he's their goal line
21 attempts, 69 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Beautiful. We had not a question in here, but Tyson coming in and saying, I'm out of the playoffs with Justin Herbert, Dalvin Cook, Saquon Barkley, Cordero Patterson, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Adams, and more. Says he is out of the playoffs.
R.I.P.
Dude, that's a tragedy that team's not going to get to compete in the playoffs.
Absolutely
I'm so sorry,
brutal.
Tyson.
Absolutely brutal, Tyson.
And it's in a 12-team league. That's not even in an 8-team league. He said, should I be looking to move anyone? And should I start Toney over Patterson next week? So move anyone? I don't know. If you're out of the playoffs, then you're out of the playoffs. But
yeah,
you still got to try to get those W's. Jail, are you starting Toney over Patterson in week 11?
Yeah, I am. I'm absolutely starting Toney over Patterson. Juju, we have to see how he progresses through the concussion protocol this week. If him and Mecole Hardman are out, or any one of them is out, then it's a big boost for Toney over Patterson here.
What about you, Joe? Are you starting Toney over Patterson?
I am. Yeah, I think that Atlanta running game is getting a little cloudy, and with no chance of meatballs. So.
Not a single meatball in sight.
There's some meatballs on the field. His name's Arthur Smith.
Ray McCloudy with meatballs. Second time I'm bringing that up today.
Let's just keep on talking. Every time we say meatball, we have to say Ray McCloudy with a chance of meatballs.
Yeah.
No, you just said Ray McCloudy with meatballs. That's like a dish at a restaurant that you order, not a movie.
I was inside of meatballs.
That's a special edition San Francisco. Ray McCloud actually brings you out a plate of meatballs.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
If it's Impossible Meatballs, I'm in.
What if it's
Simon's out on those, right?
What if it's somewhat possible meatballs?
No.
No?
That sounds like it's half meat, half plant-based meat.
What if it's put in a really good effort meatballs?
Okay. What if it's meatballs?
Definitely not.
What if it's meat squares?
Any question mark in my food and it is not going in my body. I just told you how it makes me gag.
Meatballs? I think would be what I would order. Guys, we're going to get into some hogs and logs, and I want to start with a game that I know Joey's excited to talk about. The Seattle Seahawks and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers facing off in the first ever NFL game in Germany, and Tampa Bay got that W, bringing them to 5-5. The first hog we need to talk about in this game is Mr. Rachaad White. Got the start, 22 carries, 105 yards on the ground. Joey, tell us about Rachaad White. Is this dude a certified hog, or was this just one game?
No. Especially with the Leonard Fournette, he's got a hip pointer, was the last we heard. They're going into the bye, but I think we've seen a shift here with Rachaad White taking over this backfield. I do think it'll be maybe like a 60-40 split. But listen, when Rachaad White's on the field, the offense is really cooking. When Fournette's out there, unless he's catching passes, I'm not that excited by him. And his attitude's not good, so I don't like that.
Dale, how do you feel about his attitude?
I feel like his attitude's fine. Rachaad White, 22 carries, 105 yards. Leonard Fournette, 14 carries, 57 yards. But he did get the touchdown. Oh man, this stinks for Leonard Fournette. I don't think that he looked completely like a dud this weekend. He looked all right. He looked fine, but you're right. Rachaad White looked better. So it is what it is.
They're probably going to continue to use both of these backs down the stretch once Leonard Fournette's healthy. Like we talked about yesterday, these guys are still in the playoff hunt. Like, it doesn't matter that they're 5-5, right? Because I believe they're leading their division now, right, Joey? With that win,
Yeah,
they're in sole ownership of first place in their division at 5-5.
So
they're still a playoff team, and if this team can get it together down the stretch, they're going to want their players healthy. So, I think it's going to be a pretty even split between Rachaad White and Leonard Fournette down the stretch of this season, as long as Fournette's healthy. That being said, you can start both of these guys if they're playing, at least in my mind. But Rachaad White, what a hog game for him. Got to give an old man hog to the person who caught the first ever NFL touchdown in Germany. The first touchdown ever caught in Germany. Julio Jones, 5 targets, 3 receptions, 53 yards, and a touchdown.
You say that old man?
Yeah, old man hog. It's an honorary hog because I don't think Julio. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Julio Jones is a hog rest of season. He's a hog in his career. Dude is a hog in general, but
total
for fantasy,
career hog.
He's not a hog for fantasy,
the Hall
right?
of Fame hog. Yeah.
No. He's definitely not a 2022 hog. He's a career hog though.
He's a career hog, but wanted to give him a shout out over there. On the other side of the ball, we had some log performances. Kenneth Walker, who's been really exciting to watch so far, didn't do much on the ground, 10 carries for 17 yards, but he got it going through the air a little bit. 8 targets, 6 receptions for 55 yards, but a disappointing week based on what we've seen from Kenneth Walker. Joey, are we going to see a return to hog status for Kenneth Walker?
Yeah, this Tampa Bay run defense is great, and I think that was the hang up today. It's why I had Rachaad White a little bit low, or not Rachaad White, sorry, Kenneth Walker a little bit lower in my rankings than I normally do. But I think next week he's right back to where he was before. This just ran into a great run defense.
Absolutely. Joe, you agree? Or are you worried about Kenneth Walker?
No, I do agree with Joey. This is a very good run defense from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm not worried. DJ Dallas didn't get any work behind him. There's no one there except Kenneth Walker.
Man, maybe this is a controversial week 10 log because he has not been a log, and his fantasy performance came out fine by the end of the game. Geno Smith, like the stat line that he's got there, the 23 for 33, 275 and 2 touchdowns, I feel like doesn't illustrate just how bad he was and that Seahawks offense was in the first half. They couldn't get anything going. Geno Smith was miserable out there. Maybe that was an effect of the Bucs defense, but this is a log week for Geno Smith in my mind after so many hog weeks that he's had. He did not look good on the football field in that first half.
No, he did not. They seemed to have his number in that first part of that game.
Joey, do you think this is the Bucs defense just performing, or do you think that maybe Geno Smith is starting to get figured out in the NFL?
No, I mean, I think he's coming into the game. He was the QB7 in fantasy, and I think the Buccaneers defense is good. I mean, their pass defense isn't as great as their run defense is, but when you've got a quarterback that likes to run a little bit, his number's going to be a little bit lower. So I'm not surprised that Geno didn't have the best game, but he didn't throw any picks. I was excited to see that. So, I think Geno's going to be fine the rest of the season. And the Seahawks came out and said they want to extend him, make him their quarterback definitely next year. So I really like riding Geno Smith the rest of the season and even into next year if you have him in Dynasty.
I'm with you. Rough game for Geno, but I think he bounces back. This was a tough defense, like you said, Joey. We had some questions coming here in the chat before we move on to our next game for Hogs and Logs. Jay in here said, with that said, because we said James Conner, not necessarily a sell high. He said, I have Christian McCaffrey, Kenneth Walker, James Conner, and Damian Pierce. Should I make a move with like a 2-for-1 trade? Would you guys just be staying pat with those 4 running backs, or would you be trying to make a move right here at the trade deadline?
If you can only start 3 of those running backs and you're weak at wide receiver, I would go out and take one of those running backs and try to get a wide receiver.
Just a one.
Our good buddy Alex. Yeah, go use our buddy Alex's trade chart. He puts out a really great trade chart, and I've used
I also think with those 4 guys, you're probably starting 3 of them every single week. Like you probably got 2 in your starting spots, 1 in your flex. I don't mind having all 4 of those guys. Know what I mean? I do not mind. Now, I also love building a nice fragile glass cannon for the fantasy football playoffs, like cash in all the value on your bench and just create a superstar starting lineup. So I'm not opposed to what Joey said. If it gets you an upgrade, if you can throw one of those running backs, maybe one of your secondary receiving options to get a T Higgins or something like that, that's what I'm doing. That's what I would be doing. What about you, JL?
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. Those are 4 solid running backs. So totally cool moving 2 of them for one of your wide receivers or upgraded wide receiver. I think that's a good move.
Hot. Dennis in here with a question said, have PPR stacked at running back with Mixon, Kenneth Walker, Damian Pierce, Jonathan Taylor, and Ezekiel Elliott. You are stacked at running back. So considering packaging one of these guys with Lazard and upgrading 2 studs with great rest of season schedule like ETN, Kamara, Devontae Adams, or AJ Brown, which of those running backs would you be looking to move maybe for one of those players down there? ETN, Kamara, Devontae Adams, or AJ Brown? What are you doing, Joey?
One more time so he's wanting to move the running backs. I only see half the question. So
yeah, I'll throw it in the chat right here. So we've got Joe Mixon, Kenneth Walker, Damian Pierce, Jonathan Taylor, and Zeke that he wants to package with Lazard to try to get ETN, Kamara, Devontae Adams, or AJ Brown.
If you can take Lazard and man, I want to keep Mixon, Walker, and Pierce. That I definitely want to keep those 3. If you can take Lazard, put Jonathan Taylor on top of him, and no, I don't want to do that. Man, this is tough. This is really tough. Zeke and Lazard are who I'd want to get rid of, but I don't think you're going to AJ Brown or Devontae Adams for that.
Yeah, I think you're going to get the most for and might be a good trade candidate is Joe Mixon. I know he's had some big games recently. He's the lead back in that offense, but this offensive line is still bad. And when I look at their playoff schedule, like weeks 15, 16, 17, it's the Buccaneers, it's the Patriots, it's the Bills for Joe Mixon. Those are the 3 teams in weeks 15, 16, and 17. I wouldn't mind sending away Joe Mixon and Lazard to get one of those top tier receivers. And I think you could get a top tier receiver for Mixon plus Lazard. I think that's what I would be doing. What about you, JL?
I agree with you, Simon. I think that would be a smart move. Kenneth Walker, if you can still send him off, I think he would be a decent replacement with Mixon there.
Absolutely. We had another question in here from Jay. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Joey.
Yes, AJ Brown has a bad game tonight. That's who I'm targeting because Devontae Adams had a great game yesterday. So if AJ Brown has a bad game, I like that trade a lot. Zeke and Mixon and Lazard.
There we go. JHI said, I need a running back for next week due to bye weeks. Who do you have producing the most points for week 11? Gus Edwards, Isaiah Pacheco, Jalen Warren, or Latavius Murray? This is going to be Isaiah Pacheco for me. It looks like he has taken over as the lead back. Clyde Edwards-Helaire played 4 snaps, had 0 rushing attempts, 2 targets, 0 catches. Just wasn't on the field. Seems like it's Pacheco's job now. So I'm going to roll that way. JL, do you agree, or are you going one of these other running backs?
I agree with you. I think it's Pacheco as well. Jalen Warren is a little interesting, but out of this group, Pacheco is the guy.
Pacheco. Guys, let's move on to our next game here. We've got the Detroit Lions playing the Chicago Bears, and the Lions came out on top 31-30 in a game that was unbelievably exciting, just overshadowed a bit by the Vikings-Bills game. This game was fun to watch. And we had a question in here about Justin Fields. That's the first hog we got to talk about. Justin Fields has been a freaking monster over the last couple of weeks. Justin Fields, his finishes, let's just assume he stays the quarterback 1 this week. Let's go through the last 5 weeks. Quarterback 1, quarterback 1, quarterback 5, quarterback 5, quarterback 8. That is since week 6. The worst finish he's had is quarterback 8. 4 top 5 finishes and 2 as the number 1 quarterback, unless Jalen Hurts or Taylor Heineke has something to say about that tonight. Pretty freaking good, right?
Pretty good.
We were talking earlier about quarterbacks who would rather have rest of season over Justin Fields, and the list was pretty short. He came out at around 6 or 7, depending on if Herbert is over him for you. Where do you have Justin Fields rest of season?
Justin Fields rest of season, I'll say the next 3 weeks, he's a top 5 quarterback for me. The next 3 weeks, I absolutely love him. When he hits after his bye week, he's got a tough run. So I would definitely be wanting to have an extra quarterback on my bench just for those couple games. But then in week 17, he's got Detroit again. So I think Justin Fields for me is definitely a top 10 quarterback, but he's had some tough playoff matchups. So it's really hard for me to get excited about the end of his season.
Can he do enough in these next couple weeks to make you feel like, okay, I just have to start him against the Eagles? Know what I mean? Like, I think
he's already done that. Like, it's going to be really tough for me to bench him. I would need to be able to have fallen into like Tua and Fields, which if you punted quarterback, you might actually have that. There are people that are asking us yesterday, should I start Tua or Fields? And we were like, oh my God, I hate that you have to make this decision.
I have a super flex league with Tua and Fields, and I am loving life with those as my 2 quarterbacks right now. But Nick in here said, I love Justin Fields, contemplating starting Fields over Lamar, despite me having the Mark Andrews stack. JL, are you starting Justin Fields over Lamar Jackson next week?
No, I'm still going to start Lamar Jackson. He's in that tier above Justin Fields.
What about you, Joey? The Bears have the Falcons, and the Ravens have the Panthers next week.
I'm still going to roll with Lamar. Congratulations on having that decision to make. I'll tell you, Nick, if you've got them both and you need an upgrade at any other position, maybe shop Fields. He's really hot right now. You will never be able to sell him higher than he is right now. With 2 in my league, he had 60 points last week and 53 this week. I don't see many more 53-point games from him.
if your trade deadline is not passed and you have Justin Fields in a 1 QB league, I would be shopping him. Because if you can get an upgrade at a skill position slot, like one of your skill position players, and ship off Justin Fields right before that tough playoff schedule, I'd be about it.
It's hard to do, but yeah, I 100% agree.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I agree in principle. In principle and in theory, I agree. But if I've got Justin Fields on my team, man, it has felt so good the last 4 weeks, right? Like, it has just been like, felt like you had a little cheat code on your team unlocking it for you. But the smart move, Joe, you're probably right, is to try to move him. You can probably capitalize on these 2 number 1.
If you got a Lamar Jackson, would you trade Justin Fields for, I don't know, you're not going to get Damian Pierce, but Chris Olave?
If I needed the receiver, I believe in Olave rest of the season.
If I have Lamar, then I'm doing that. And Scott saying Fields gets Atlanta next week. Yeah, indeed he does. It's going to be another.
Atlanta's going to be a slaughter. Yeah, next week is wheels up for Justin Fields managers.
Check your trade deadline. If it's not till next week, get 1 more game out of Justin Fields and then trade him. Play Justin Fields chicken and then trade him away.
Trade chicken.
Justin Fields, hog. Absolute hog. There was really only room for 1 more hog.
I don't like the way my face looks when I make that sound.
Do it again so I can judge it. I like it. I kind of hot, JL. It's kind of doing it for me.
It's kind of doing it for me.
Yeah. We'll have to pull that face out again later. The only other hog on the Chicago Bears team this week was really Cole Kmet. 2 weeks in a row with 2 touchdowns. JL, you and I both very confidently said on Sunday morning, well, he can't get 2 touchdowns again. Maybe he has a good game, but he can't get 2 touchdowns again.
As we do many a thing.
And then Cole Kmet comes out here, and what does he do? 2 touchdowns yet again. Joey, I've said I still don't trust him as an every week start. I know it's 2 weeks in a row with 2 touchdowns. I just don't think there's enough passing volume in this offense to trust Cole Kmet. Are you with me, or do you think he's separated himself from this glob and should be starting every week?
I think he's like sitting on top of the glob doing this. Like he's happy. He's like on the glob. He's not in the glob. I'm definitely starting him against Atlanta next week. I was kicking myself. I had him and Gerald Everett, and I started Gerald Everett last night. And
oopsies.
Yeah, oopsies.
Whoopsie doopsie.
Yeah, he was a tight end that I've been high on the last 2 seasons, and it just hasn't really happened. And in the last 2 weeks, it's happened. But then you look at his weeks before that, and it's not terrible production. So yeah, I think Kmet is definitely someone I'm going to be drafting next year. And right now he's just kind of floating on top of the glob.
John Luke, you more optimistic for Kmet, or do you think he's in that same position as Joey said?
No, I think he's in that same position that Joey said. While this matchup was better for him, and we knew that he was probably going to get used this at least this week against Detroit, and maybe next week against Atlanta. Long term, I don't expect this offense, which Justin Fields threw for 20. He threw 20 passes yesterday. That's not good. That's not good. It's below their average on the season. It's going to be what we see going forward is this low passing offense, and I don't want that upside from Cole Kmet. It's just not there.
Yeah, you're right, Jail. And whenever I look at his game logs, like last 2 weeks, 7 targets, 6 targets, but the weeks preceding that, 2, 3, 3, 4, 3, 3, 1, 1 to start the year. Like I won't hold those first 3 games. Against him. They were not throwing the ball. That offense looks entirely different than it does now, but still there's plenty with the way this offense runs, with it being a rush first offense, with it being like the best rushing offense in the league. They don't need to throw the ball. So Cole Kmet doesn't need to be involved for them to win games. I'm with you guys. He is not an every single week start, but fire him up next week against Atlanta. On the Chicago side of the ball, I don't know if I even want to call it a log, but David Montgomery, 9 carries for 37 yards. Khalil Herbert did a little bit more with his 10 carries for 57 yards. It seems like this is maybe just a little bit confusing of a backfield, especially with Justin Fields going for more than 100 yards a couple weeks in a row here. Joey, what are you doing with this backfield? David Montgomery, Khalil Herbert. Who's the guy to start going forward?
I'm starting David Montgomery going forth, and I kind of broken down why. After this season, David Montgomery's an unrestricted free agent, and I think the Bears are just going to ride him until the wheels fall off. I think Khalil Herbert's the running back to own in this backfield after this season. He's a running back of the future. But for this year, I think it is a timeshare with David Montgomery getting a little bit more work.
Yeah, what about you? Do you think this is David Montgomery's backfield, or do you think maybe Khalil Herbert's the guy to roster?
No, I think it's still David Montgomery's backfield. Khalil Herbert is a high value backup.
We had a Cole Kmet question come in here while we were talking about Cole Kmet. Drew want to know Greg Dulcich or Cole Kmet rest of season. JL, are you going with Cole Kmet or Greg Dulcich rest of season?
Greg Dulcich. Give me Greg Dulcich. His consistent usage is promising. I'd rather have that on my side now.
I'm with you. It's the consistent target share since he's been back. And I've enjoyed what he's done in this offense. Joey, are you going Cole Kmet or Greg Dulcich?
Yes. I like them both a lot. I probably would lean Greg Dulcich just because the schedule coming up for him is really good. Where Kmet, he's going to be running into some roadblocks here soon. But
the same defense as Justin Fields are going to run into.
Yeah,
because they're on the same team. Makes sense. I didn't even think about that. I've just been applying it to Justin Fields and haven't even thought about Cole Kmet in that way. Dennison here said, I kind of want Lamar Jackson because of the playoff schedule instead of Justin Fields. So maybe shipping away Justin Fields. I have Kyler Murray. What would you add? Something like Zeke, Lazard, Garrett Wilson. So would you trade away Kyler Murray for one of those players maybe?
What were the players? Lazard, Wilson, Garrett Wilson, and who?
Ezekiel Elliott. Are you shooting a little higher if you're trading away Kyler?
I'd be shooting higher, but I'd settle for those guys in a one quarterback league.
You agree, Joe?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, so he's got Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, and Justin Fields.
I think he just says Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray. I think I mixed up some questions.
I would shoot for the moon, but I would settle for Lazard. I still believe in Allen Lazard rest of the season. I'm letting whatever happened yesterday just go out the window.
Absolutely. I don't mind that trade. I think you could get a little bit more for Kyler Murray, but with him being injured this past week, maybe not. And I would prefer Lamar Jackson rest of season over Kyler Murray. Do you guys agree on that, or would you prefer Kyler Murray over Lamar Jackson? Lamar. Absolutely. We got that triple Lamar in here. On the Lions side of the ball, Jamal Williams, is he a permanent hog now? 16 carries, 59 yards, a touchdown. I believe it was his 9th rushing touchdown of the season. He just keeps on producing for fantasy, and DeAndre Swift appears to still be dealing with that injury. JL, full hog status for Jamal Williams?
Yeah, I think it's full hog status. Hogs up.
Hogs up. What about you, Joey?
Yeah, I'm happy with Jamal Williams. He's a hog for me. Even with DeAndre Swift was healthy this season, he looked great. So hog.
Now on the other side, DeAndre Swift. Is DeAndre Swift a log? I know he's still banged up, but they're putting him out there, but they're not giving him the work because clearly he's still hurt. Like that seems what has to be going on. Is he a log because of this? Like, does this change your? We've always talked about DeAndre Swift as being a guy. If he's playing, you start him. If he's playing, you start him. Is his status changing in that regard? Are you losing trust in this Lions offense, putting him out there when he's not healthy?
6 carries, 6 yards, and a touchdown. 1 reception on 3 targets, 6 yards. It's absolutely limited usage that we're seeing from DeAndre Swift. He's a log until we see that usage go up.
Yeah, he's like a hog sitting on a log, like until he gets off the hunt. You know,
that's a really good way to put it, Joey.
Thank you.
Hog sitting on
we
a
know
log.
he is a hog. It's just he's dealing with some issues right now.
Yeah, until he gets off that log, he's going to be in a log.
That is so cute. The visual that was in my mind, Joey, as you said, hog sitting on a log. Like I just pictured it was a wild hog. It wasn't like a babe style pig.
Okay.
It was like a wild hog, but sitting with its paws up like this or its hooves and just sitting on the log waiting for his leg to be better. And then I'm going to
Did he have a big belly? Did he have like a big pot belly?
Oh, of course, Joey.
Yeah,
without a doubt, he had a big pot belly.
I saw Hal asked what happened to Chase Claypool, and I actually have an answer for that.
Okay.
Because the game was in Chicago, and he went to the Wiener Circle in Chicago. And if none of you know about it, it's a hot dog place that's rude to you on purpose. And if you ask for ketchup on your hot dog, they throw you out. And that's what happened to Chase Claypool. He went to the Wiener Circle before the game, ordered a hot dog with ketchup on it, and they kicked him out, and he's no longer allowed to play for the Bears.
Damn.
I made that whole thing up.
I believed you 100. Did you even make up Wiener Circle? Like, is that
no?
Not
The
real?
the Wiener Circle is a real thing. My wife went there, and the thing is, you trick your friends and go in there and tell them to get ketchup on your hot dog, and they like ridicule you, and they like, roast you? Yeah, it's really funny.
I got to go to the Wiener Circle.
Yeah,
I thought I'd been to all the Wiener Circles, but I guess I missed one over there in Chicago.
Scott Fish is going to come in and tell us a story about going to the Wiener Circle because I just assumed Scott Fish has been there.
Oh,
Is this in
He's
Chicago?
been everywhere. Yeah, it's in Chicago.
Have you been to the Wiener Circle,
like
Jay?
Chicago. I've never been to the Wiener Circle, but I'm a vegetarian, so it makes sense.
Yeah, and I don't eat hot dogs, so I don't know what I would eat there. Maybe just I'll ask for a bun with ketchup on it. I don't eat ketchup either. So
it's a bunch of relish on a bun.
That is vile, Joey. Like what you just said.
That seems so genuine. Was that a genuine gag?
I hate pickles, and then I realized what I had said, and I was
relish on a bun. Disgusting. Hal in here had a question for us about
what's wrong with pickles. You guys are such freaks.
They're just not good. They're just not
You guys are
good at all.
freaks.
Hal in here said, getting ready for next year. How many teams is ideal for guillotine leagues? Where your finals is in week 17, so 18 teams is probably ideal for a guillotine league.
Yeah.
I think you need to have at least 16, but then 18 is ideal. If you can get 18 teams, then you're done in week 17. There's your winner.
So how does
Throw
it work
week
if
18 out.
it's less than 18?
Then
You
the
just-
league ends
you
in
just-
week 16 or in week
Okay,
15.
it just ends a little shorter.
It
Gotcha.
just ends a little bit earlier, yeah.
Gotcha.
Or you can start it later in the season, but that's stupid. I hate that way of doing it. Like you could start it week 2, week 3, week 4. No, start it week 1 and just end it a little bit early if you need to.
Yeah.
We had another question come in here in the chat. Dustin, well, first of all, Dustin saying pickles are man's second worst invention, only behind mayo. Mayo's
So
great.
weird. Mayo's,
You
you're
had me-
right. You're right
You had
about
me
mayo.
for the first half. You had me for the first.
You
half.
had me
Lost
for the
on it.
second half.
No, lost me on the second half. Mayo
I was wrong about mayo for so long. I
Put it in
held
your mashed
mayo.
potatoes. Delicious.
Put it in a grilled cheese. Use it on the bread for a grilled cheese. It's delicious. Throw it in some mac and cheese. Makes everything better. You don't, JL, I'm going to tell you right now something that's probably, you have no idea how many times you've eaten mayonnaise at a restaurant. And you have no idea.
I know. I know.
Oh, you know? Oh, they put that shit on everything at restaurants. They're cooking with mayonnaise all over the place.
Disgusting.
Do you know
I'm saying where
aioli
you've
is?
enjoyed it and you haven't even known it was mayonnaise. Like where they make sandwiches and put it on the bread.
I'm going to level with you. It's disgusting.
Okay. And what I'm telling you is you've eaten it, not thought it was disgusting and not even known. I'm positive of it.
You have no idea how I felt when I've eaten my food.
Have you eaten mac and cheese at a barbecue restaurant?
Nope.
Never? You've
Nope.
never eaten a side of mac and cheese at a barbecue? You are lying. I've watched
time.
you eat mac and cheese
You've
at the
never
Smoking
watched me
Pig.
eat at a barbecue restaurant in your life, Simon.
You
That's
are
the truth. That's the truth.
unbelievably frustrating as a human sometimes when you
Name
dig
a
your
single
heels in
time.
jail. I'm
Name a
leaving.
single time.
I'm out of here. This is
JL,
preposterous.
have you ever had aioli on a sandwich?
Nope.
Nope.
You ever had
'Cause that's
aioli on your
mayonnaise.
nipples? Idiot.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I have,
there was
I have put them on my
mayonnaise.
nipples. Yeah, they're disgusting.
You enjoyed it.
Absolutely vile. Absolutely vile. Would not have recommended those nipples to anyone.
Dustin said, what would jail actually get at a barbecue restaurant besides, like mac and cheese?
French fries. No
Jail
mayonnaise.
loves- jail-
Mayoless French fries.
What about a jalapeno popper? Would you eat a jalapeno popper?
Say
have
it
those.
right or don't say it at all, Joey. Don't say jalapeno popper.
Jalapeno popper. What did I say wrong?
You didn't say the N yet. But no, I don't eat those. Too much disgusting cheese.
You are Dale.
I don't want to
Dale-
bite into a loaded sack of cream cheese. It's not enjoyable for me.
Dale,
That's
one
too
of my
much
favorite-
cream cheese.
Oh,
I
those
like
are
cream
good.
cheese, but just a little bit of cream cheese.
One of my
I
favorite
just had
things about you
jalapeno cream cheese
is that
the other day. It was delicious.
Joe, you're a picky eater and your food takes are not popular, but you will stand there and act like everyone else is the idiot. Like you will stand there and be like you guys are like you
know
will
where I
dig your
learned that
heels
trick
in.
from, Simon? You know where I learned that trick?
Jacoby
My best
Brissett.
friend. Jacoby Brissett.
Jacoby Brissett taught you that one. God, you've like genuinely got me riled up. You eat mac and cheese at restaurants, JL. I know you do.
No, I don't.
Don't we have a segment later
No,
in the
I
show that's
don't.
supposed to be us pissing each other off?
Yeah.
AV in here had a question for us. He said traded Diggs, ETN, and Swift and JJ. So and Justin Jefferson for Christian McCaffrey, Lamar Jackson, DeAndre Hopkins, and Deontay Johnson, full PPR. Joey, how you feeling about that trade? It is Diggs, ETN, Swift, and Justin Jefferson for Christian McCaffrey, Lamar Jackson, DeAndre Hopkins, and Deontay Johnson.
God, that's a loaded trade. Wow. So Diggs, ETN, Swift, and JJ. I'm gonna take Swift out of this because I need to simplify this a little bit. So Diggs, ETN, and JJ I want the Diggs, ETN, and JJ side of this. I really do. CMC. I still want the
So you're liking that side. The
It's
side they
really
traded
even.
away, yeah.
It's really even though, but this is just a matter of preference.
Oh, Jerry Jeudy. AV in here going, it's Jerry
that
Jeudy. It's Jerry
changes
Jeudy.
things. That changes things. Okay, let me look at this again. Now I want the other side of the trade. I want the CMC D Hop side. And you're getting Lamar, upgrading from Brady. Yeah, I like the trade you made then.
Yeah.
I'd rather have
JJ changed everything.
I'd rather have Diggs over D Hop. I'd rather have CMC over ETN. I'd rather have Swift over Deontay Johnson. I don't know. This one is pretty tough.
Yeah.
I think I would take the ETN side. I just don't like trading for a QB.
Yeah, I get it. It's this point in the season where I think I'm a little bit more comfortable trading for quarterback. Like, what your team's needs are. That's a clear upgrade from Brady to Jackson. So I'm cool with it. I think I land on the CMC, Jackson, D-Hop, Deontay Johnson side of this one. That's a big boy trade, AV. That is a big boy trade. JHI wanted to know rest of season tight end Cole Kmet, Tyler Conklin, Hayden Hurst, or Evan Ingram. So Cole Kmet, Conklin, Hurst, or Ingram. Joey, which of those tight ends would you be plugging in rest of the season?
I'll take Kmet rest of the season. I think all those guys are kind of in the same group, and Kmet in the last 2 weeks has really started to break out. So let's keep it going.
Joe, what about you? You going Kmet?
I'm not going to go commit. I'm going to go Evan Ingram.
Me too. This week was disappointing, but he was also coming back from an injury. I expect more great weeks ahead for Evan Ingram. He's a pivotal part of this offense.
Am I obligated, because this is usually Coop's spot, to say Evan Ingram? Like, is that something I have to do?
No, you just can't slander him.
Okay, I won't slander him. I like Evan Ingram.
No,
okay.
Absolutely not. You just can't slander him.
Actually, you have to now. And JL is in agreement that you have to say positive things about Evan Ingram. Give him a compliment right now.
Me?
Yeah.
Evan Ingram, I like the number that you've chosen when you arrived in Jacksonville. Every time you score a touchdown, I don't realize it's you. Thank you.
What's his number?
I think it's 7. Isn't it
7?
Yeah, it's
weird. I'm so bad at player numbers. Some people like have them just off the dome, and I'm like, I don't know. Like
Evan Ingram is 17.
Right.
Is he 17?
Evan Ingram is 17. Yeah.
Devontae Adams is 17. Kenyon Drake is 17.
Who's 7? Is it Zay Jones is 7 on Jacksonville? I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, I think that is right. Evan Ingram's only scored 1 touchdown this season. That's pretty.
And
sad.
he's still been good for fantasy though. Like he's been a good. I mean, decent.
Not really. Tight end 14 in PPR.
He missed some time, right?
He's played every game.
Oh, he has played every game. You're right, but he played injured. Man, I thought Evan Ingram was doing better than that. I'm just curious from like a weekly finish perspective.
You just made a segment we didn't realize. It's like things we thought we knew about Ingram, but we're all completely wrong.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, no, I guess not.
No, but you know what? You look at his game logs, and he's a guy that is capable of putting up like a top 5 week. He's got multiple weeks in the 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks as a top 12 tight end out of 10. I know that's not great, but there's some level of consistency there that you're not getting from like a Tyler Conklin. Tyler Conklin doesn't have that same level of consistency. Cole Kmet, 2 weeks in the top 10, the past 2, right? So even though we're talking about Evan Ingram has been disappointing, like there's a level when we say good for tight end, it means something different than good for wide receiver, right? Like it's not the same position and it's hard to find that consistent production. That being said, I thought he'd been more consistent than he actually was. I think I was blinded by Coop. Blinded by, and I bet Coop wasn't even blinded. He's been fully aware of Evan Ingram's production, and I'm just putting that on him and pretending like he blinded me.
Al wants to know. Just wanted everyone to draft Evan Ingram.
Maybe that was the case. I mean, it would have worked for you some weeks. Hal wants to know, should we hold Ingram or drop Burks to add a tight end? So would you be holding Ingram? So drop Ingram or drop Burks to add a tight end while they're on bye?
I wouldn't drop Burks if you can. If you can hold him. I mean, he got decently targeted yesterday. 6 targets, 3 receptions, 24 yards. Didn't turn it into much this game, but it's promising.
Yeah. For me, it's who would you be dropping Ingram for? So.
Guys, coming up, we've got our Monday Night Football prop bet draft. We're going to be drafting player props or props from this game. We'll see who wins tonight, and the losers have to do an impression bet on tomorrow's show. We've also got some unpopular opinions that we are going to throw your way as well. Right now, you're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports.
Front Yard Fantasy, weekday mornings at 7 Eastern on Better Sports Network.
There was a tweet about the refs that had me kind of cracking up the other day because somebody was like, we have the technology to track the ball down to a centimeter and figure out, what speed these guys are running on the field. Yet somehow we still mark the ball by
That's my favorite.
A 60-year-old dude eyeballing it. And then we run over with literal chains and measure it. It's like, you think we can probably get that figured out.
The least precise way to measure something, and then immediately following that up with a super precise way of measuring something.
Yeah. It's like we have satellite. Like if you're a millimeter short of that chain that they bring out there, that they ran out it as best they could in a straight line. But if you first they just go here, and then they grab the chains and they run in the straightest line possible. But then if you are 1 millimeter short with that football, doesn't count. Sorry. Couldn't have been human error. You're just short.
That's exactly. And, they bring up the index card or whatever. Meanwhile, they have satellites in space tracking how fast Brandon Ayuk ran on an end around. But we can't,
and I can see that number live while he's doing it. Like I can see every player's speed on the screen live.
I love that. It's and not to mention that dude's trying to make the spot and the player always tosses the ball right into his face. Right? He's coming over to spot it, and it's every other time the player's just here you go. Here's another thing to juggle.
On call with Dr. Roto.
If the Giants don't win another game this year, A, I'll be shocked. But B, I'll still think that they're better than they were with Joe Judge. Much better. Because I think Brian Dable's got a lot out of this team already. And I'm seeing what this team could be. See, that's the problem with owners and general managers. I see Nathaniel Hackett and I see a guy who can't get it done. I see Matt Rule and see a guy who never should have been hired. Disaster right away. Sometimes a good coordinator in the NFL is better. I don't even say sometimes. Most of the time, a good coordinator in the NFL is better than a college coach because the NFL coordinators, they know the system. They've been there. They've played. They've been around it. For the life of me, I don't know why Eric Bieniemy hasn't gotten a job yet. Deuce Staley is going to get a job. Somebody's going to hire that dude. When you've been around the game, you understand it. These college guys come, they don't know it.
Join the show with one touch of a button. It's Sports Talk 3.0 on Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. Someone set off a stink bomb in JL's office, it looks like.
I can't tell if it was me or Rosie. One of us busted ass. And it stinks.
Ooh. It comes back and JL's just got, I thought you were like mad at me for something. You just got stank face on when we get back in there. But then I realized as you waved the hand, it was legitimate stank face.
It was stank face. Yeah. Not good. No bueno.
Sometimes a dog just every time they fart, they point their ass at you first. I feel like it's a fact. Like Sancho will lay on the couch, point his ass right at me, and then rip a fart, just like ready to go. He's like, "This is for you, Dad. Look what I made."
Are you experiencing this with other dogs?
All dogs fart in my general direction. That is 100% accurate.
Can you imagine? That'd be like such a terrible reverse superhero power.
It's your superpower is all dogs point their ass at you before farting.
Yeah.
You can always find me. You can use your dog as a compass. Feed it something that's going to give it gas, and then just follow the way his butthole's pointing and pick him up, walk that way, put him back down, let him fart
actually
again.
Quite useful when we lose Simon.
I'm just picturing Simon walking by a dog park. Everyone's like, "No!"
As they all.
All the little butts up against the fence.
Mass wave of dog farts just comes at you. You just get a wind knocking you.
It's my scent. It's what I usually smell like.
And he just inhales. He just yes. It gives me power.
What's my superhero name if that's my superpower?
The flatulent Fido? I don't know.
Terrible.
Hal said dog blow. Yep, that's my name. That's my name is dog blow.
That's the most clever name I ever heard, Al.
It's me, dog blow. We had a question here, guys, before we get into our Monday Night Football prop bet draft. Jay wanted to know, should I pick up Foster Moreau from waivers? If not, who should I look for? I have Ertz and Everett as well. So who do I drop? So in a vacuum, Ertz and Everett, I prefer over a Foster Moreau rest of season. But they both suffered injuries this week, both of them. Joey, are you dropping one of those guys to pick up Foster Moreau?
I think that this question is going to answer itself by the end of the day for you because Ertz did get carted off. So I feel like he'll be the one that you'll drop just because I think his season might be done. I don't have any news on that, but we're getting close to the end of the year. So it looks like it could be sad.
He's going to get an MRI today, but he's the expectation, according to Adam Schefter, is multiple weeks. He's expected to miss multiple weeks. You're dropping Zach Ertz. He's not the type of guy that you need to hold multiple weeks.
And Jay, if your league has IR spots, you might get not luck. I don't want to say lucky, but though might put Zach Ertz on IR, and you can just move Ertz to your IR spot and then grab Moreau that way.
If your IR spot is empty, congratulations on making it to this point in the season.
Yeah, somehow you have done the impossible.
No matter how many IR spots are in any of my leagues, I've got all of them entirely full. And it wasn't being cute and adding players off the waiver wire and stashing them. It was just they're all full.
Destruction. It was just picking up the absolute graveyard that my team is.
I had Elijah Mitchell MIR forever. I'm like, man, who am I going to drop when the time comes? And then Darren Waller goes right to the RR. So I just swapped him in.
The what?
RR.
Goes right to the RR.
They are the Raiders, which is kind of like a pirate, right?
Yeah, I'm in an all pirate league. And so we have the RR instead of the IR.
I have a dynasty league where there's only 2 IR spots. And oh boy, my bench is riddled with that red out or IR letters all over the place. It's disgusting.
Doesn't it hurt in a dynasty league when you have a bench of like 23 and your starting lineup is what it has to be? There isn't a
it's
single...
like you are just fielding enough active players, guy.
That has happened multiple times this season for me. Like on a team with more than 20 bench spots where there truly was not a single other person on my bench I could have started because of buys and injuries. Just brutal.
Mark Andrews, Marquise Brown, Romeo Dobbs, Mike Williams. It's just all J.K. Dobbins. I guess he was on bye, but still injured.
Still
just
injured
brutal.
And on bye. The double whammy. Jay said, I love how Joey shamed Jake Trowbridge for a pirate pun, but went with his own here. Well, you see, Joey accidentally said RR, and then we mocked him, and he rolled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jake Trowbridge consciously made a decision to make a pirate joke and should be thrown overboard for doing that.
Oh, hey. Is that a Giants pullover, Joey?
No, this is an Eddie Bauer pullover that I got for Christmas that I was like, I don't really like the look of that. But then I put it on and was like, it's pretty comfortable. And then I was like, should I go on stream with this? And I was like, I'm already married. Who cares? So that was my thought process.
I like that hoodie. Eddie Bauer, though, every time I go into that store, I'm like, this is where they shop for outdoor commercials. Like this is every generic commercial with like campy, and it's like generic puffy jacket, generic pants with pockets, like generic.
Is Eddie Bauer the guy with the tattoos?
No, that's Ed Hardy.
Eddie Bauer's the shortstop for the Indians, I think.
Eddie Bauer is about like, imagine the opposite of Ed Hardy clothing, and that's Eddie Bauer clothing. I don't think they could get more far apart.
Okay, I got you.
I couldn't look any more white on the stream today if I tried than just going to Eddie Bauer.
Yeah, that's Eddie Bauer. It is the epitome of white clothing. Go bust in here. That's an aggressive way to. I hope that's just a name and not an instruction. Said, would you trade Jacobs, Foreman, and Higgins for Eckler? JL, after you're done busting, would you trade Jacobs, Foreman, and Higgins for Austin Eckler?
Jacobs, Foreman, and Higgins for Austin Eckler. No, that's way too much. That's far too much. Way too rich for my blood. You should be able to do T. Higgins for Austin Eckler.
I'm not sure you're getting that done, but both of, like all three of these, you would trade Austin Eckler away for T. Higgins?
If I needed a wide receiver, absolutely.
Yeah, I think Higgins plus Foreman could potentially get it done for Eckler, but Jacobs is a locked and loaded starter at the running back position. I know he's had some disappointing weeks, but was better this week, right? You saw it again. He's going to get the work. Foreman is a very startable running back, and Higgins is a top 12 wide receiver. It's too much to give up for Eckler. Joey, would you be making this move?
No, I would do Jacobs and Foreman for Eckler or Foreman and Higgins for Eckler, but I would not. That's all.
Adam wants to know, what do I do with Pittman? Cry that he's not what you thought he was going to be, but start him because if Matt Ryan's going to be the quarterback, then he's startable. He's a wide receiver 2-3 now instead of a wide receiver 1-2. You guys agree?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Wow. We made it, JL. We found an agreement point. You guys ready to get into our Monday Night Football prop bet draft?
Yes. Time.
And you know what? I always decide where I'm going last because I'm so gracious and let the other two decide first. I'm picking first today. I'm picking which spot I'm picking in.
Oh, I got to look.
And I'm going third. I'm going to go on that turn today. JL, do you want to go first or second?
I want to go second.
Dale's going to go second. Joey, that means you're going first in today's prop bet draft. For those of you who have not joined us for this before, how it's going to work is we're going to take turns drafting prop bets from tonight's game. We'll keep score. We're each going to draft 3. Whoever hits the most wins. The other 2 have to pay out on our impression bet tomorrow. Joey, you're going to have the first pick. The game we're talking about is this Washington Commanders at the Philadelphia Eagles game. Big picture. Eagles are 10.5-point favorites at home. The total is set at 43.5 points. And reminder, we're doing all player props, but you can also take the over-under on the total, or you can take either team with the spread as well. Joey, what is your first draft pick going to be here, my friend?
My first draft pick is going to be AJ Brown over 5.5 receptions. I feel like that's pretty achievable. I've done well with the reception props in the past, so that's where I'm going first.
AJ Brown over 5.5 receptions. I like that one. That one was on my short list, but it's okay. I got some other things up my sleeve. Dale, that means you're on the clock.
That's super annoying, Joey.
Thank you.
That's really annoying. Okay, I'm gonna take Antonio Gibson under 23.5 receiving yards.
Antonio Gibson under 23.5 receiving yards.
Yep.
Is this more about the usage of Antonio Gibson in this Commanders offense, or is it about the Eagles defense?
I think it's about both. I think the usage is going to favor Antonio Gibson in the run game, less on the receiving side. And I think they're going to be able to shut him down or use the other pieces here in this offense.
I like it. Can I I'm going to ask you guys a question if it's fair game, and I think it should be because it's at plus odds while most of the ones we're looking at are at minus odds. So like this is, according to the FanDuel Sportsbook, more unlikely. But I want to take AJ Brown as an anytime touchdown scorer. It's at plus 115. Would you guys allow me to take AJ Brown as an anytime touchdown scorer? The odds are worse than all of the other player props in there. Like those are all minus odds. This one's set at plus odds. Is that cool?
Yeah, it's fine, Simon. Just shut up.
Sure.
Joe, you don't seem convinced.
I haven't thought about it. You sprung this on me.
I did spring it on you, but look at the facts. It's plus 115 as opposed to like minus 113 or 110, which is what a lot of these other ones are.
You're like the guy in the league that's like, hey, we should add an IR spot. Anybody care? No, we're fine. And you already knew what you wanted to do the whole time.
Yeah.
I feel like you're playing tricks on us.
That's a loose analogy that
if you guys call foul play, then call foul play, and I won't do it. But I am taking something that has worse odds than all of these other prop bets in here. I just believe in AJ Brown to get that touchdown tonight. So I'm going to take AJ Brown as an anytime touchdown scorer for tonight's game. And then now I should have thought of what my second one was going to be instead of just spending all my energy looking at ones that weren't even on our list of plays.
You just wanted to get crazy with it.
I just wanted to get crazy with that one. I think where I'm going to go with my next one is I'm going to take Taylor Heineke over half a passing touchdown. I think Taylor Heineke will throw at least one touchdown in this game. The Eagles get up big. Maybe they start resting some of their defensive starters, and Heineke gets a garbage time touchdown. So I'll take Taylor Heineke over 0.5 touchdowns, passing touchdowns.
Damn, you got 0.5. I see 1.5.
See 1.5? Let's see. The one I'm looking at had it at 0.5. Oh, I'm seeing 1.5 as well. Ooh, sorry. The list I was looking at, Jail, had him at 0.5. I can pick a different one. Okay. I'll pick a different one. I don't know where the 0.5 came from, but that's on the list we're looking at. I will take, you know what? If it's at 1.5, I'll take the under. I'll take Taylor Heineke. I thought 1 was what he was going to throw. If we're putting it at 1.5, I'll take the under on Taylor Heineke, 1.5 passing touchdowns.
It's not a bad
play.
Let's not
mix it up too much.
All right, so it's back to me.
Back to you.
All right, I'm going to take under 15.5 rushing attempts for Miles Sanders this game. Yeah, I think he'll likely get less than that. I think Jalen Hurts will get the majority of rushes this game.
I forgot to listen, Jail. Who are you taking here?
I'm gonna take the under of Miles Sanders 15.5 rushing attempts.
Okay, Miles Sanders under 15.5 rushing attempts here. Ooh, I don't know about that one. I feel like, especially in a game where they're expected to be up big, are you thinking they're going to be up so big that
I don't know. I'm getting kind of worried about it now.
Kenneth Gainwell and Boston Scott take over?
I'm honestly getting. You know what? Can I switch it?
You can switch it. I didn't mean to talk you out of it. No, I think that's a great play, JL.
You did kind of talk me out of it though, because they might lean heavy on the run, even if Jalen Hurts is rushing a lot. I'm going to take the under on Curtis Samuel, 40.5 receiving yards. I think the Philadelphia secondary is going to be able to shut down Curtis Samuel this game.
Curtis Samuel under. What was the number? 42.5 receiving yards? Yeah, that seems like.
Yeah.
I wonder how many times this season he's hit that mark. Probably quite a few times, but that doesn't mean he's going to do it again.
Yeah.
I don't mind that one, Dale. I like that a lot better than your Miles Sanders one.
Sanders one. Me
that
too.
being
Me
said,
too. I'm glad I switched it.
I don't think you've lost yet, have you?
No.
You've won every single time. So maybe you shouldn't let me talk you out of things because I have lost because you've won every time.
Maybe, but I'm happy with this one.
Now, Curtis Samuel, when we're looking at his game logs, last 3 games, 65 yards, 50 yards, 53 yards. Week before that, 6, but then 62, 38, 48, 78, and 55. So there's only 2 weeks this season he has not hit that mark, but he is going up against the Philadelphia Eagles today. It is a tougher defense than what he's played most of the other weeks this season. Joey, we're back to you. JL just took Curtis Samuel under 42.5 receiving yards because he hates him. Where are you going here?
I'm going to bet on some kickers. I'm going to take over Jake Elliott, 7.5 points.
Gross.
I could see the Eagles putting up a bunch of points, couple field goals, 3 touchdowns. I got my 8 points right there. Actually, I think that's 9. Math.
Should we not be able to take the same prop in this game?
What do you mean the same prop?
Like, we just assumed that was one that you could take it and then the other people couldn't take it. But should we take that stance on it? Like, should that be the mechanic? Or should we have it where you can take it, maybe take the other side of it?
I think it's fine to take the other side, but like you can't take the same thing as someone else.
Can't
I feel
tail.
like
Yeah.
it takes that off the board. But if you want to take the other side, I think that's fine.
Got you. Okay.
That makes it fun. Then it's a direct competition, right? One of you's right, one of you's wrong, unless Jake Elliott figures out how to score half a point and pushes this one. Joey, you've got another pick though. You just took a kicker prop. You've got a receptions prop and a kicker prop so far. Are you going to take a punter prop?
There are no punter props listed here. I am going to go. I'm going to go risky here. I've been saying it's going to happen for Devonta Smith for like 3 weeks now, and one of these weeks I'm going to be right. So I'm going to take over 53.5 receiving yards, which man, I really don't like that, but yeah, we're gonna roll with that.
Devonta Smith over 53.5 receiving yards for Joey. JL, that puts you back on the clock.
Oh, now I got to decide where I want to go here. Let's see. Okay, I took the under on Curtis Samuel. I don't like taking these unders. Not a big fan of that.
Then over it.
All right. I'll take the over on Jalen Hurts passing completions of 19.5.
Yes. You left me the one I wanted. There was one I was eyeing down, and you left it for me. You said Jalen Hurts over 19.5 pass completions?
Yep.
I like it, JL. I like it even more that it wasn't the one I was looking for. It was another Jalen Hurts prop, so I got nervous whenever you said that. I do think Jalen Hurts is going to run quite a bit, and I'm going to take over 12.5 as his longest rush. So Jalen Hurts over 12.5 yards as his longest rushing attempt in the game is going to be my final prop in today's draft. 1 under, 2 overs for me. Let's do a recap of the picks that we made here. Joey, you had the first pick, and your 3 selections were A.J. Brown over 5.5 receptions, Jake Elliott over 7.5 points, and Devonta Smith over 53.5 receiving yards. How you feeling about those picks?
Yeah, I feel about them. I had a good day yesterday, so maybe I should confidence in myself.
You were on a streak on Thrive yesterday, right?
It was insane. I hit I think I said a 5-leg parlay, but then I hit 9. Count them, 9 like 2-player parlays.
That's why.
But I don't bet a lot of money, so I think I pocketed like $60. So
hey, $60 is $60.
Yeah.
I had JL had the next pick. He went Antonio Gibson under 23.5 receiving yards, Curtis Samuel under 42.5 receiving yards, and Jalen Hurts over 19.5 pass completions. JL, you feeling a little pessimistic today with your unders?
Nope. I have 1 over.
You do have 1 over. How you feeling about your picks?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Pretty good? Well, you guys aren't feeling as good as me because mine are all money today. I've got A.J. Brown as an anytime touchdown scorer, Taylor Heineke under 1.5 passing touchdowns, and Jalen Hurts over 12.5 yard longest rush. Jalen Hurts going to have a big old rush. Full Justin Fields impersonation tonight. 60-yard rushing touchdown. Jalen Hurts.
I'm gonna be petty about you making that second bet, just so you know.
You mean the first one, the anytime touchdown score?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then you should have told me you had ample
No,
opportunity.
you're right. I'm not saying that there's reason behind it, Simon, that's reasonable or rational. I'm just saying I'm going to do it.
Okay. And I'm not going to be understanding. I'm going to, in fact, be really rude and dig my heels in that you're in the wrong.
Cool. That's what I expect.
Cool. Just want to make sure we're cool there. Craig and you said, I do want to thank Joey for letting me know there are player props over there on Thrive. Had some money on there from something. Did not know about the player props. Already up some cash. Get it, Craig. Making some money this weekend. And Craig said, Jail said tail. Jail, you did say tail. Remember when you said that? I did.
You're right. You're right.
Guys, coming up, we are going to share some unpopular opinions with you guys. They may be about football. They may not be about football. But we're just going to see what unpopular opinions we have and if the others agree with us. That's coming up next here on the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show on Better Sports Network.
Call, chat, and enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Better Sports Network. Moose and Keith.
Because I never asked you this. When Noah was growing up, when did Noah first where you got a sense that this is what my son wanted to do?
I was really busy during his formative years. I didn't meet Noah until he was about 19.
Nice.
So,
your wife did a good job.
Yeah, you may want to talk to my wife. I would say about he started showing a legitimate interest. He started getting curious about how I prepared, what it required. And then I saw a little bit of a shift, 14, 15, where he was concentrating on the on-cameras, the interaction between play-by-play and analyst, and started probably taking mental notes at that point of the performance aspect of, okay, you do all this prep, but you got to go out and deliver it. So, yeah, probably that 14, 15 range, I thought to myself, this could be something he really wants to do.
Front Yard Fantasy, weekday mornings at 7 Eastern on Better Sports Network.
You don't need to be like right 100% of the time.
No, there was a tweet about the refs that had me kind of cracking up the other day because somebody was like, we have the technology to track the ball down to a centimeter and figure out what speed these guys are running on the field. Yet somehow we still mark the ball by
That's my favorite.
a 60-year-old dude eyeballing it, and then we run over with literal chains and measure it. It's like, you think we could probably get that figured out.
The least precise way to measure something, and then immediately following that up with a super precise way of measuring something.
Yeah, it's like we have
satellite. If you're a millimeter short of that chain that they bring out there, that they ran out it as best they could in a straight line. But if you first they just go here, and then they grab the chains and they run in the straightest line possible. But then if you are 1 millimeter short with that football, it doesn't count. Sorry. Couldn't have been human error. You're just short.
That's exactly. And they bring out the index card or whatever. Meanwhile, they have satellites in space tracking how fast Brandon Ayuk ran on an end around. But we can't.
And I can see that number live while he's doing it. Like I can see every player's speed on the screen live.
I love that. It's and not to mention that dude's trying to make the spot, and the player always tosses the ball right into his face. Right? He's coming over to spot it, and it's every other time the player's just here you go. Here's another thing to juggle.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Is it me, Ray, or is the only publicity that Microsoft Surface has gotten out of their whole thing on the sideline is people throwing them to the ground in anger? Is that just a me thing? Or the only time I hear about this device, Ray, is when somebody is chucking it on the ground, just pissed off at it, which I get it. All of us are in that world. We love to do that. Only in the NFL, Ray, can they get away with it because these are free. There's no cost. It's part of the sponsorship. Here's 5,000 Microsoft tablets to get you through the NFL season, and these players are just slamming them down. It's like they've become Gilbert on the sideline, and they're so frustrated. They're just the only publicity this company and this product has gotten is negative.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We're about to get into some unpopular opinions that we have that we know are not the popular take. Maybe with us, maybe with the general consensus. Before we get into that, though, we did have a question coming here in the chat from Jonathan. Jonathan wanted to know, I got Gus Edwards and Michael Carter on the waiver wire. Who do you guys think is the better pickup? JL, Gus Edwards or Michael Carter? Which one are you prioritizing as a pickup?
I would prioritize Michael Carter as a pickup in any other league that isn't non-PPR or standard. In that league, I would prioritize Gus Edwards. But every other format, I'm going to be prioritizing Michael Carter. I think he's got the better opportunity to have a long-term impact on this offense.
Joe, are you agreeing with JL? Is it Michael Carter or would you pick up Gus Edwards?
It's Michael Carter for me, 100%.
So Hal wanted to know, is Elijah Mitchell a start next week? So is Elijah Mitchell a player you can start? He got some work. He got a lot of carries in this game this week, was involved in the offense and looked good, almost 5 yards a carry with that work. JL, do you think you can start Elijah Mitchell?
I wouldn't. If you have to, you can start. Well, you said Elijah Mitchell, right?
Yes.
Okay. For some reason in my head, I went straight to Elijah Moore, and I was like, ooh. Yeah, I think as far as we see, like his first game back, he got a decent number of carries. I think you can start him in certain flex situations until we see that start to shift towards Christian McCaffrey. I'm totally fine flexing Elijah Mitchell.
Double head nod from the other two people here if you're not watching.
Yeah.
Me and Joey
He's got
both
the Cardinals. He's got the Cardinals next week, so
you can't hear.
You can
head
start
nods.
him. Well, it depends how close you're listening, and depends how loud your head
If you're
is.
watching, yeah.
I just tried to bang my head on my microphone and missed.
If you if you listen closely, you
That's
can hear my
coordination.
brain rattling around inside as I nod my head. Jason wanted to know Dalvin Cook or CMC rest of the season.
CMC.
So JL, it's still going to be CMC for you, even with the added work for Elijah Mitchell. What about you, Joey? CMC?
I was trying to make an M with my mouth and two C's, but then that looked really bad, so I stopped doing that.
And one of your
it's
C's was
CMC.
backwards.
Yeah, that's okay. It
Yeah,
it
I
looks
was
better
about
like
to-
as a logo.
It does. Also, we had a question here from Eric. JL, this one's for you. Eric Tate wanted to know, did JL poop today?
Good question. Good question. Yes, first thing in the morning. First thing, bright and early.
Wow. Beautiful. Every
Any
morning?
other questions? Not every morning, but this morning.
Really?
It's one of those
Incredible.
mornings.
One of those mornings. It's an every morning occurrence over here before the show. That's what's happening right there. Also, we had a message in here from Tabitha. Tabitha said, good morning, pros. Joey, is that your mom in the chat?
That's my mom in the chat, guys.
Good
morning.
morning,
We love
Mom.
moms.
Welcome
We
in.
love
We
moms.
love moms here on the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show. And she's just in time for unpopular opinions. Before we get into that, though, we've got someone named Heather in the chat saying, I slept with JL back in 2017. JL, your past coming back to haunt you on the stream today. First,
Oh,
you
my.
pooped, and now Heather in here.
First, I admit that I pooped on stream, and now Heather Pizzola, whose name I've never heard before in my life, is claiming I slept with her back in 2017. You know what? I slept on a lot of air mattresses back in the day. You can't rule it out. She could be telling the truth.
And now Keith coming in. I slept with JL. That's how I got my job. And Jay, so did
That's
I. They're just
exactly
coming
how
out.
Keith got his job. That's exactly how Keith got his job.
And they just mean lay in the same bed.
Nepotism.
JL's got a twin bed, and he hates being alone in it at nighttime.
I do. Getting very afraid of
I
the
don't-
dark. Remember
I
we
don't think
learned
that's what
earlier
they-
on Fast Guy Quick Tap.
I'll make it
Guys,
love.
you guys ready to get into some unpopular opinions?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You ready?
Oh,
You ready for
Heather's on fire today, apparently.
My goodness.
JL, you want to go first, or do you want me to go first? Or
I
Joe?
want you to go first, Simon.
Okay. This one, I'm a little nervous to say this one because I know it is a publicly loved figure, but I have been staunch in my defense that this man should not be publicly loved because he's a terrible person. Everyone loves Steve Harvey. Everyone freaking loves Steve
Here
Harvey
we go.
because he's a great host. Don't get me wrong. He's a phenomenal host of Family Feud, but you see what he does on there. It's phenomenal. You see the clips, you see the TikToks of him making jokes, him making crazy faces when people say inappropriate things. Too bad the dude's a misogynistic asshole. Like, the dude believes that women are lesser than men. Go read his book.
Yeah.
Go watch his interviews. Steve Harvey is a piece of shit human who's really great at hosting. And we should stop celebrating him as a society. Steve Harvey should stop being celebrated. Like, let's stop
Man,
just pretending like he's just this goofy dude. He's not. He's an asshole.
My unpopular opinion is so much like more tame than this. Mine's just like so much chiller.
I knew I was going in hard, going after Steve Harvey with the first one. People love Steve Harvey, but look him up, watch his interviews. Yeah, people like he's publicly celebrated. Doesn't say, "Well, Simon coming in hot." Like I don't know if people don't know that about him or if they just ignore it because they don't really highlight it on Family Feud. But just can't stand the guy, and it hurts because he is a great host, right? Like he's phenomenal at what he does. But we should stop celebrating him because he's not nice.
Yeah, his views on women are just some of the worst opinions I've ever seen in my life. So like he's a quick
Steve Harvey.
He's a quick channel change for me anytime I see him on my television.
You know, that one kind of set you guys up in a rough like you couldn't really defend Steve Harvey the way I laid out that argument, like the unpopular opinion. Like I laid it out in such a way that like you can't come in and be like, come on, but he's such a good host. You know what I mean? Like
I don't feel like I need to also, so
no defense for Steve Harvey.
Yeah, don't need to come in and defend Steve Harvey. I think I agree with that one, Simon. And to get onto my more serious one here, the crust of the pizza is the best part.
What?
The crust of the pizza is the absolute best part of a pizza, which is why I prefer thick crust.
Let me clarify and let me finish the question before you jump in and go. I said the best. Okay, so let me get it all the way out.
Please.
Is it the best because a pizza without it wouldn't be pizza? Like it's a necessary part, or truly in a vacuum, someone hands you a piece of crust or the rest of the pizza, you're going to pick the crust as the part that you want to eat?
Yes.
I asked, there were two parts to that.
Yes.
Which one's true?
The second one.
So Dustin, like that's what I'm asking. Do you prefer breadsticks over pizza?
No. Because breadsticks aren't the same. I like having the toppings on the crust. Don't get me wrong. But the crust makes it. It makes or breaks the pizza.
So that's what I'm saying is I don't think you even mean what you're saying, JL. The crust is the most necessary part, but I don't think it's the tastiest part.
It's the tastiest part for sure.
God, I can't get behind that. Now, like, I agree with you. Like, I would love a little bit of crust in every bite. Like, I love a pizza where I get crust with every bite. I love eating the ends of it, but I need the sauce. I need the cheese. I need the toppings, the pineapple and the jalapeno.
I have a really hard time with like conflict and debate, and especially when people are being stupid. So I'm just going to be quiet.
Dustin said, wait, the crust or the bottom of the pizza?
This feels like a loaded question.
Like, are you talking just the part on the end, like the bubbled up part without any toppings on it, or the whole entire bread?
I view that entire part as the crust. I view it all as the crust. So it is part of it. I don't view them as separate pieces.
I don't mind the crust if I've got like a dipping sauce, but it requires me to have a dipping sauce for me to like the crust.
Dipping sauces are fantastic, but if I could, I would only eat crust. If I could only eat crust of pizza, that'd be cool. And like that little part where the crust goes into the cheese, that's from there to the top. We're talking primo real estate.
I'm just happy that you're happy, JL, I guess. I don't know.
I saw a video, JL, of a guy who took the crust from a previous slice, like New York style thin crust pizza, put it vertically on the next slice of pizza, and then folded it so that with every bite, there was a piece of, like, it was basically a breadstick because it was the crust tucked in between the pizza, and then folded it and ate it. So he had crust in every single bite. You know what? I was impressed. I'd never thought of that before. You got to eat one piece of pizza, not like that. And then the rest of your pieces of pizza, you can take the crust from the previous one, tuck it in between, and eat it like that. Like, if that's what you're saying, the reason I was trying to qualify your statement, JL, is I wanted to be on your side. I like the crust. It is necessary. It's not pizza without it. But I can't say, like, if you're just going to, like, split a pizza up and one person gets the crust and one person gets the rest, I'm going to take the rest.
I'd be so happy with just eating the crust if I'd be that person, Simon, to split with you.
Okay,
you can have the bottom half all you want.
That's beautiful. You can have the crust. I even get the cheese part that connects to the crust, though.
No, I want that. I want the bridge.
Every other
pizza.
The bridge. Every other pizza.
Otherwise, I'm only getting this much food. I'm going to need a lot more food, because you're getting that much more. It's got to be a nice even split.
I think the volume comes into play whenever we're talking about which part's better.
Sure.
So as the person not taking the crust, I get the volume. You're going to be hungry, and I'm going to be full and have diarrhea.
I agree with that. We're going to have to work out the details of this negotiation.
Dustin said that makes more sense. If you're talking about the foundation of the pizza and not just the end crust. See, you converted some people, JL. You converted some people.
Sweet. We got Jason in here asking, should I trade Cook for Kamara?
Dalvin Cook for Alvin Kamara?
I'd rather have Dalvin Cook. Alexander Madison's not getting involved in this offense as much as people like to think he is. So,
yeah, I think I would take Dalvin Cook in this situation as well. What about you, JL?
Yeah, I would as well. 1-for-1 position trades is just there's no real upside with that.
Absolutely. Joey, do you have an unpopular opinion for us?
I do. I've had this unpopular opinion for probably over 20 years, and I just have never had a platform to bring it to. And that's that Belle chose the wrong guy in Beauty and the Beast. And maybe not necessarily that she chose the wrong guy, but that Gaston just got a bad rap. He's a war veteran. His only flaw is that he's maybe just a little bit vain. Like, truly. Belle goes to the castle. Has everyone here seen Beauty and the Beast? Am I speaking?
I've seen
a long time ago.
Okay. Anyways, so Belle goes to this castle and she's there with the Beast. And, before that, she's in the village. Gaston is doing everything to court her. She's the most beautiful girl in town. He turns down 3 hot blondes because he knows that he wants a girl with brain. He wants a wife that provide a beautiful family for him that's well read. Gaston's looking towards his future. He's a war veteran. He's got a lot of great things going for him. He's just a little bit vain. He's strong. He's a good hunter. He's a good provider for his family. Belle goes to this castle at the Beast, who's got serious domestic violence issues. If we are to believe that the castle in Beauty and the Beast is an enchanted castle and all that furniture in the West Wing was people that he has murdered, the Beast is a horrible person, and he lures Belle into Stockholm Syndrome to choose him. It's horrible. It's a disgusting movie. She makes a horrible choice. And worse, Belle never gives Gaston a chance. I'm done. Thank you.
Yeah. Joey,
I came in hot, but I'm very upset. I'm very upset.
I'm actually going to agree with you on this one, Joey. Gaston is annoying, arrogant. Know what I mean? He is too much. He is over the top, but he is not a kidnapper like the Beast is.
No.
And also, one thing Gaston is genuine. He is completely 100% genuinely himself throughout that entire movie, even if that self is an arrogant asshole, right? He's still genuine. And you got to give him props for in a town where everyone else was shitting on Belle. Know what I mean? Like mad at Belle, called her weird, said she was bizarre. She was a freak. Gaston saw through it and saw a smart, beautiful woman that he was in love with. I'm with you, Joey. I'll take it. And that song is one of the most underrated songs in all of Disney.
It is the best song ever.
It's so good. That is such a good song in Disney movies.
And listen, when Belle comes back, Gaston sees that there's this Beast that's held her captive. And what does he try to do? He goes to try to protect her. Look, he is
Ernie,
a
and you're
provider,
saying
protector.
This man chose to wake up and speak facts.
Hashtag
Team Gaston.
No.
Ernie is on Team Gaston here. JL, what do you think about this? Are you Team Gaston or are you on the Beast side?
Honestly, I don't really remember a ton of the plot of this movie. It's a really long time ago that I watched it, but Joey makes such a compelling argument. I'm going to be Team Gaston.
Dustin said Belle picks the Beast because he started to consider her needs and wants. Gaston never would have done that.
Never.
Justin, is he given the chance?
And he said Gaston also put together a mob very quickly. Hashtag leader.
Yeah. What have you seen?
Man, yeah. And the Beast, man, it took him so long to accomplish just one goal. Like all he had to do was get one person to fall in love with him. And it took him like hundreds of years. Gaston, a mob within minutes, ready to go. Had everyone ready to fight with him.
Terrible. He has a black thumb too. Terrible. No respect for, horticulture at all. He kills flowers. Like the Beast is awful.
I'm in on that one. JL, you got another hot take for us?
I got another hot take for you guys. Here it is. Soup is one of the best categories of food. It is so nice to be able to sit down on a cold day, drink your nice soup. I know you guys hate soups. I'm about to get eviscerated for this, but it's so delicious. Get yourself some baked potato soup. Get yourself some cream of crab if you like eating cream of crab. If you're not vegetarian, get yourself some French onion. Soups are delicious.
I'm not mad at you because I understand a lot of people like soup. Like I get it. No, I don't get it. I don't get why people like soup, but I understand that people do like soup. What I don't understand is the obsession. Like 10 times out of 10, I just want what's in the soup, and I want more of it instead of it floating in water or watered down sauce. Like even if it's like a cream soup, like baked potato soup, why don't you just give me a delicious baked potato covered in like a cheese sauce and a cream sauce with butter and chives and bacon and shredded cheese? Like, why does it have to be in a bowl watered down? Like it just makes everything in there worse. Like chicken noodle soup, I just want the noodles and the chicken and the vegetables. I don't want the dirty water that it's floating in. Like
There's
the
something
chicken and
comforting
noodle
about
flavored
dirty water. It's broth. It's delicious.
It brings you back to your childhood when you would drink
like
your
the
bath
same
water.
as like dip, or a lot of people like other things that they dip their stuff in.
See,
it's
but
the same,
dip,
it's the same deal. You don't
the
gotta,
dip is more
you gotta shame the
solid.
water.
It's
Dip has more.
Yeah.
It has more of a texture to it. It's more of a
Not always.
consistency.
Au jus, that's straight up liquid.
Well, that's not. That's more of a soup.
That's dip. It's dip. That's not soup. You don't drink au jus.
Bless you.
If I'm sick, I want soup. If I'm over the age of 75 and about to die, I want soup. Those are the only two reasons you'd ever eat soup. That's it. Like there's no, just because there's so much better
Sometimes you
choices.
just
So many better
enjoy it.
choices. No, there's no reason to enjoy it.
The one time you eat soup,
There's no palpable reason that people could enjoy that.
the one time you eat soup is when someone serves you soup, and that's when you eat it. Like if it wasn't a choice and soup gets placed in front of you, then you eat soup. Then it's okay to eat. Otherwise, like I don't know. I'm also not a fan of like hot liquids. Like it's just like I'm not a big coffee drinker. I'm not a big hot chocolate guy. I'm not a big tea guy. I don't want to drink hot liquid.
Oh, coffee's amazing. You should just shut your mouth now. But yeah, soup's terrible.
Keith
That's
in
my hot
here
take.
letting us know that his hot take is that cereal is soup. JL, as the soup lover
No.
here, is cereal
Absolutely
soup?
not. Absolutely not. I'm sorry, Keith. I can't be on board with that.
Soup has to be hot, right? That's the
Is
No,
stew?
no. What's
Gazpacho?
Gazpacho, I think is right.
With split pea soup is
You're
also
making up
another
words
cold
now.
soup, right?
Yeah.
Limoncello is a
They
cold
have
soup.
cold soups. I'm not a big fan of cold soups. Personally.
Is stew a type of soup?
This is the topic we should get on to.
I don't know. I guess, yeah.
Stew is soup. Is chili stew?
Okay, this is what I want to talk about. Chili, yeah. I don't think chili is a soup. I think chili is the middle ground between soup and like a meal. Because
pretty close
if
to
you
soup.
don't like the broth, you can just use one of those spoons that's got the holes in it and just get all the meat, beans, and onions and all the good stuff that you're looking for without the poopy butt water.
Stop comparing to poopy butt water.
That's what it
It's
is.
disrespectful.
Helen is saying, yes, stew and chili are both soup. That's where I tend to lean. Like if stew is a soup, I think chili is a stew, which would make chili a soup. It's a hearty soup, but it is still soup, I think. JL, would you put chili in the soup category?
It's close enough that I think it could be. It could absolutely be. But if you want to make a distinction, I'm fine with that too.
Like if a chowder is a soup, then a chili has to be a soup, right? Like if chowder is a soup, like that's thick.
Chowder is definitely a soup.
Guys, yeah. I'm just going to say I'm a fraud. I really love a good chowder. I'm sorry.
See, not so unpopular.
Good. But it's like, it's really thick though, you know? It's like, I don't like
How
raw
said-
soups.
How said, is it in a bowl with liquid? It's soup. Just simple enough. Just like that. Is it in a bowl with liquid? It's soup. If I'm in a bowl with liquid, if I get in the bathtub, is that people's soup? Is that Simon's soup?
This is very, my wife loves soup, but yet she never wants me to get in the shower with her. And what I want is in the water, but no. So exactly.
Not the same thing.
Very close. Perfect analogy. And Hal saying, yeah, you stew in a tub. You 100% are stewed in a tub. Dustin said cereal is not soup. Soup has to be made together. At best, cereal is like pasta with milk being the sauce. You know what? I don't mind that definition. Soup has to be made together. Like you're cooking the vegetables in the broth. Like it's not just throw it together
You can't
at
just
the end.
pour something into it. Yeah.
I like
You can't
what
just,
Dustin
pour
has
broth
said.
into vegetables and call it soup.
Just pour vegetable stock over some noodles and call it noodle soup.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I never
And
knew
Jason-
there was cold soups until today. So that was my that was my defining line. Like, oh, soups have to be hot.
You could try it. It's definitely
I
worse
won't.
though.
I won't.
It's definitely worse.
Don't
And for
already
some
like
reason,
this
I feel like a lot of cold soups are green.
Yeah,
Like,
a
they
lot
just-
of them are. I don't know why.
Right? Like, am I just when I think cold soup?
The ones
it's
I've
green.
had are green for sure.
I'm gonna pass out.
Kind of
definitely
thick,
been green.
A little bit mucusy, maybe.
Oh no! All right, let's get away from that.
Okay, I've got a hot take here. This one much less serious than my first one. I'm not calling out another misogynist. It is a food take, and I think this one's going to be unpopular with everyone. The best dipping sauce for French fries is applesauce. Applesauce is the number one best thing that you can dip your French fries in. You get the salty, sweet combo between the two. Apples and potatoes are something that have gone together historically, yet people look at me like I'm insane whenever I dip my French fries in applesauce. It's a combination that makes sense. The only thing holding you back is that you think it's weird. It is so good.
So I go to this.
I just got bonked for that.
No, see, I'm going to reserve my judgment on this one until I actually try it today, because I go to this place in Florida here called the Hollow Tree, and it's like a German restaurant, and they have this thing called Heaven and Earth, which is basically mashed potatoes and applesauce together, and it's incredible. So I'm going to try that today. I'm going to go get some French fries, and I'm going to get some applesauce, and I'm going to try this today. I'm going to reserve my judgment. It makes sense though, because I like the Heaven and Earth. So yeah.
Dustin said applesauce over cheese sauce. Absolutely. Cheese sauce is good, but applesauce doesn't give me the diarrhea.
Really?
The best?
Simon, you like a good beer cheese over applesauce?
Applesauce is the salty sweet combo with the French fries. You got to really salt up the French fries, dip them in the applesauce. It's top tier.
Is you're saying it's the best. I don't know that I can get behind that. I can understand. I think the thing that's limiting my French fry to applesauce usage, Simon, is not that I don't think about it or I'm afraid to try it. It's that they're not usually together like spatially in the same place. Like I don't typically have French fries with applesauce at the same time in the same place where I'm eating both. I'd have to go out of my way to bring applesauce to some place that I have fries, or on the off chance I'm at a place that has both a side of applesauce and a side of French fries, then order extra sides, which is typically just, a little, I wouldn't think to go out of my way to get the applesauce to dip it. I'd just be like, I'm just going to use this ketchup here. But, I understand that you want to get a little crazy with it. Throw a little applesauce in there, dip it in. I think on a taste perspective, I could see why you enjoy it. I'm historically, in my life, I'm the guy that's trying different things like that.
You know what?
It's a weird one, though.
We'll revisit this one. I want you guys to try it, then we'll revisit it. Guys, before we go, I wanted to get some score predictions for tonight's game. Like we mentioned, 10.5-point favorites are the Philadelphia Eagles. Joey, who's going to win this game and by how much?
Eagles 28-10.
28-10 for the Eagles. Big win, covering the spread. JL, what do you think here?
I'm going to go with 31-21 Eagles.
Okay, so the Commanders covering ever so slightly. Man, and I want this to be a fun game. I'm going to go with 35-21. Big win, but we get some scores from the Commanders. 35-21 for the Eagles. Guys, everybody who tuned in and hung out with us today, thank you so much for coming in. We'll be back tomorrow morning from 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern time with some more of the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show. Until then, though, make sure you're sticking around here on Better Sports Network. Right after this, we've got Moose and Keith, followed by Lunch Money presented by Fantasy Guru. Then Corey Nando and friends right after that. And then, of course, tonight, the big game, Washington Commanders against the Philadelphia Eagles. If you guys enjoyed what we're doing over here, head on over to our YouTube channel and make sure you're subscribed to Front Yard Fantasy. There's more to carry you over until we're back on the air tomorrow morning. But until then, we are out of here. Enjoy Sunday night football. Go Eagles or Commanders. Sorry, Matt. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning.
Bye, everybody.